meeting, okay. All right, we go to start with that. All right. Yeah, right. Okay, so, calls City Council special meeting Thursday, May 7th, 2026 to order at 7:10 p.m. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, on this National Day of Prayer, we come before you with grateful hearts on behalf of the City of Kirby. We ask you for your wisdom, guidance, and discernment as we make decisions for our community. Help us to lead with integrity, compassion, and unity, always seeking what is best for the residents and future generations. Grant protection over our city and our first responders, military members, staff, and all who serve the public. And we work together in peace and respect, putting service above self. Lord, bless the City of Kirby and guide us in all that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mission statement. The City of Kirby is dedicated to delivering excellent municipal services to our community in a fiscally responsible manner. Please call roll.
Councilmember Grant.
Here.
Councilmember Lozano.
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Councilmember Street.
Here.
Councilmember Molina.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca.
Here.
Mayor Garida.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to citizen participation. First up, we have Patricia Mann. Please come up to the podium.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Patricia Mann, 5518 Harris, and I'm here tonight to speak about just some things in the neighborhood. I had contacted Animal Control back in February about roosters in my neighborhood. There's like 4, and they get going back and forth. And actually I knew the addresses of 2 because I can see them. And Animal Control took care of that. You know, everything's nice and peaceful. And then one of the roosters found its way back. So I contacted Animal Control again, and she said, you know, go through dispatch. Okay, I will. And once I did that, Animal Control let me know that the person with the rooster that had returned had a right to farm. This is a new law in 2023, and there's nothing that we can do about it because he has a right to have a rooster and his right to farm. Okay, so I want to know, where do I get my relief from the nuisance, the rooster? You know, these are my neighbors, okay, but we're not in the country, we're in a city, we are a city, okay? And how about other people that want roosters? Does that mean everybody can have a rooster? I don't know. I mean, it's not in our code to have roosters. So we need to address this before the charter review comes up, because if we have a right to farm, then I'm going to get a couple of nanny goats and it'll happen, because I have room for them. See, but being that I live in the city, I haven't, because I'm trying to be a good neighbor. But if I have a right to farm, I'll go ahead and take the ag exemption and get those on my property. So I have here the actual information that I had with Animal Control. But that's all I wanted. I wanted to be addressed in the charter review, so that everybody can know, yes, you can have roosters, or no, you can't, or if I can go ahead and get my alpacas. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Kathy Gomez.
council, mayor. I just wanted to take a quick moment to make an announcement for the community. For those of you that knew Shirley Peltier, she passed this past Saturday. She has, to be quite frank, I'm really good about this, but her services will be on May 21st. There will be a viewing, I believe the evening before. And once I find out all the additional details, I'll post about it. For those of you that didn't know Shirley Peltier, she was a member at the Senior Center from the very beginning, since the inception of the center at 1993. She's been a member since then. And only maybe recently in the past year, with the health issues, she's kind of slowed down or what have you. So just wanted to let the community know. And on a side note, I posted on Facebook the Kirby Senior Center page earlier this afternoon. And unfortunately, nobody told me that I forgot to include her name in the post until just now. So I kind of want to get this out before I fester in it. I'm a very level-headed, even-keeled kind of person. I don't get upset very, very easily. But I just kind of want to put out a lesson in kindness, just so y'all are aware. I had some serious health issues the past couple of days, haven't been at work, and then come back to work to this and be completely gutted by that. And then to be told by a council member that I didn't include the name, but it wasn't that, I would have taken it like, here's an example of a kind conversation. Hey Kathy, did you realize you forgot to include her name on there? Not everybody knows. But rest assured, that's not how your tone was. It was quite venomous and ugly. So you just never know what kind of day someone's having when you come at them. And the response was simply to say, fine, I apologize, I won't talk to you again. That was not the point. I'm not your enemy, nor is anybody else here. But you treat me like I am. I think it's unfortunate that most people don't see that side. So I've made a vow to myself that I'm no longer going to be chastised or slandered. I'm going to come to my defense. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm so sorry to hear about Shirley. Moving on next to David Barbosa, step up to the podium.
Yes, my name is David Barbosa, I'm 2402 Road. I want to speak about this $15 million debt we're fixing. So y'all are fixing, go ahead.
Time to start.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, here to talk about this $15 million debt that y'all are fixing to put us in. First of all, how long is it going to take us to pay this $15 million? Where is this money coming from? How are we going to get money to pay? I heard Mr. Grant say the other day, it's not a city council member business where this money is coming from. Should be your business. How are you going to make a decision if you don't make it your business? That's just a poor excuse, not knowing what you're doing. People need to know, not only city council, people need to know where this money is coming from. That's $15 million. We're going to be in debt forever. And if none of y'all's business, really? You ought to be ashamed of yourself to say that. 24 years of experience, and he says it's none of his business, really? Well, thank God our vote is too
Point of order.
But
What's your point of order?
We don't directly address the council as a private person.
anyways, I feel that,
Sir, that's your, hold on.
Is there anybody?
Councilman Street. Remember, we're not doing that
yeah.
anymore. I know, right, so I asked someone to point of order. So for you,
I'm not, that's my, I understand, I understand.
Yes, sir.
hold on.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
we are not going to, we are gonna do the right thing,
That's fine, I
okay?
apologize.
So we are not gonna use, names.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's do that. Okay. You
All
can
right.
continue.
Anyways, I think $15 million is a lot of money to put ourselves in debt, especially when we know, and you've said it all the time, we have a $6 million a year budget. And we're gonna put ourselves into a $15 million budget? I mean, debt? People, we need to do the math. And this is something that should be brought up to the residents of Kirby. That's their money. We know it's coming from the residents of Kirby. They should at least have a say-so to, shall we go into debt? Is it really necessary? A lot of things are needed, don't get me wrong. But $15 million in one time, that's a lot of money. Okay, and to give pay raises in the middle of the year, you know, without knowing where this money is coming from. And first of all, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, the Kirby Senior Center is under Public Works Department. Why do we have 2 directors for one department? And paying 2 directors for one department? I mean, that's something we need to think about, because that's a lot of money to pay 2 directors for one department. Nothing against nobody, but we're talking about saving money, so why are we paying 2 directors? I think 1 director should be enough.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Next up, we have Mike Martin, please step up to the podium.
Evening, Mayor, Council. I want to address this certificate of obligations also. I feel that it's not a good fit for the city. I feel it's not a good fit for the citizens, especially with a 31-year note on this $15 million. That's guaranteed minimum $500,000 a year, $500 million a year. We can start our budget off in the red, $500,000. Knowing that Barrett County has already announced they're going to raise their taxes, their tax rate, it's just going to make it harder on all of us. I feel that there was nothing on the agenda that called for a special meeting. I feel that we was trying to slide this underneath the rug for the citizens wouldn't know. There's a lot of things on here we do, but pay employees is not one of them. We should have a budget for that. I mean, don't get me wrong, they deserve everything they get. But, to have, pay on here for $15 million, you know, I feel it's not a good fit. I feel it's gonna hurt the citizens, it's gonna hurt the city in the long run. So please, be aware of what you vote for. Try not to put us in no more debt than we're already in. When y'all go back and review city manager's contract or whatever, maybe city meetings, take it a good look at what he's done. He's done a lot of good, he's done a lot of harm. One thing is, you know, y'all promoting this anti-votingness, and we have too much of it, and it starts right here at the top. That needs to stop. He says he's gonna stop it, but he's part of it. We all know it. It's been on video. He's been on video. He made an announcement here at a meeting. That's not going to be tolerated. He's the one that pushes it. That's all I want to say for now. Just be mindful when y'all go back there and review this contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 6, consideration and action on meeting minutes. 6A. We're gonna go down the line. Does anybody have anything? Councilmember Grant, do you have any unreadness?
No.
Councilmember Street.
This is a special meeting and as such needs to be held for only time-sensitive issues that cannot wait until the next regular meeting. Minutes from previous meetings, the ordinance on public information requests, a resolution to approve $15 million for various projects, and salary increases not currently in the budget do not fit into this time-sensitive category It may also seem to the residents as though someone wants to push through these items prior to the new council members joining us on May 14th, which is limiting transparency at the very least. I move that we postpone items 6A, 6B, 7A through 7H, and items 8 and 9 until the next regular meeting.
Second.
A motion was made, or,
She just made a motion.
oh, you made a motion. Oh, okay, I thought you were giving her
second
to,
somewhere.
yeah, but that's not how she first proposed it, so.
I move that we postpone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you moved and proposed, you moved that we postpone the meeting,
Items 6A, 6B, 7A through 7H, and items 8 and 9 until the next regular meeting.
7A through 7H. 7H, not all the way down, hold on, I'm sorry.
I want to get an unwritteness from the attorney. The question, there was a motion called, there was a second. But are y'all saying that if someone makes a motion before everybody's had their 5 minutes, that's gonna be the process? So we're gonna identify what the process is gonna be.
Mayor, it looks like Councilwoman Street has made a motion to continue these, and it was seconded by Councilwoman Lozano. So
To postpone.
No, she
To
made a motion to postpone.
second to postpone these until the future. So you will need to go through and allow them their 5 minutes to speak on each one.
Yes, I understand you can have discussion
On the
after the
motion.
second.
Yeah, on the motion that she just made.
Okay. Okay, so on the motion that she just made right now,
That's not even on the
It's not even
agenda,
on here, okay.
but, yeah.
So the point of the clarification we're asking, they were going through their 5 minutes. Is everybody gonna get their 5 minutes, or we're saying that we're gonna inject,
No,
which is,
everybody gets their 5 minutes.
but she made a motion, which means debate stops if
No.
No, she made the motion, it was
to give
seconded.
the attorney.
So now, it's gonna be opened up to discuss her motion to postpone, it's seconded. Everybody gets their 5 minutes.
okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right now, she made a motion on the floor to end debate, to postpone whatever her motion is, there was a second. So the attorney is saying we need to handle that motion
right.
First.
right
before we-
first,
Yes,
before we
ma'am.
continue.
Yeah, so everybody gets their 5 minutes to talk on her motion,
On the
and it is to
motion.
postpone
Okay.
in a second, so it's now open for discussion.
Okay, so, get ready for the clock, Ms. Wilson. Councilmember Grant on the motion that, Councilmember Street and Councilmember Lozano seconded. Do you have anything?
Can you read the motion back,
I make a motion to move,
Christine?
I make the motion to move 6A and 6B, 7A through 7H, and item 8 and 9 to postpone to the next day. It was made by Councilmember Street,
And
seconded by
seconded.
Councilmember
Okay,
Lozano.
that's the motion that we
We
speak.
need to
5 minutes
discuss on,
each.
okay, 5 minutes. Councilmember Grant, do you have any discussion?
I'm opposed to that, thank you.
Councilmember Street, do you have any, well, go ahead and go to her. You got 5
Yeah,
minutes to
yeah.
keep going.
This is a special meeting. Special meetings are for things that cannot wait until the next regular meeting. The items that I want to postpone are not necessary at this particular meeting. They can wait until we have a regular meeting. Thank you.
Okay, you relinquish your time, correct, Kim?
I reserve the rest of my time, yes, I do reserve it.
Okay, so no more, that's basically the point.
No, I reserve the rest
So
of
no
my
more
time.
time for you.
No,
Okay,
no,
so
no, ma'am.
No, so you have to go ahead and finish you continue to finish your 5 minutes if you have.
No, I can reserve the rest of my time after somebody else for rebuttal. Yes, you can. You can. Oh my God.
We didn't do that with the other,
No, because we didn't have the option at the time.
Councilmember Street, can I talk to the attorney?
Mayor, she is correct that she can yield her time, which means give up the remaining 5 minutes or reserve her time to be taken up. So Let's see if she spoke 2
Just
minutes.
for this one? Okay, just for this right here?
Yes.
Okay, just for this, all right. I was about to say, because I'm gonna have to start back. Where were you at? Because we only had to
I
clock
don't
in.
even know how many minutes she spoke.
Oh, why are you smiling? That makes you happy. Okay, just knock off 2 minutes then. Okay, so Council Member Molina, do you have anything?
Well, I do feel that we do need to address these because they're very important items, you know. If you go in and research this certificate of obligation, it's just an amount for all this, and it doesn't mean we're gonna get it all on time. It means that we'll go as we need to for these different items that are required. People are asking for these. They want us to do something about it, but then they don't want us to do something about it. You know, either we start working on it and trying to get this done, or, you know, we're stuck that you want to get things done, or you want us to get things done, and that we don't listen, and things are falling apart, but we can't because we don't have the funds. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it's not all coming at one time. And that's what everybody needs to understand. To say, oh, we're gonna get this $15 million at one time, that's incorrect. You know, there's a lot of things that will need to go in order to build up to this. Other cities have done it, and they're in the $100 million budgets. Laredo, Austin, Dallas, El Paso. I mean, there's a lot of cities. So what we're trying to do here is actually with that particular item that people have talked about, is trying to get our city on track. And with all the rest of these also, you know, we do need to discuss them as soon as possible. And it's not like we're trying to sneak anything in. It's that we need to address these things. Thank you.
Thank you. Is your time?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Asafa, do you have any discussion?
Yes, I do not agree with Councilmember Street to postpone these items. These items are going to move the city forward. Councilmember Street had voted not to move our water issue forward in the past, and was meant to hold the city back. I don't know why. We need these things. We need to address these issues. Everything that we are trying to fix in the city is included in here, so I do not want to postpone this. I'm done with my time.
Okay. Councilmember Sanchez, any discussion?
I also feel that in order for us to move this city forward, we have to get this taken care of. We're here, let's get this done and get it addressed. And that's all I need.
Thank you. Councilman Lozano, do you have a discussion?
Yes. So, the motion that is made to postpone these items is not to minimize the importance of those items. It is just based on the fact that today is a special meeting, and according to our charter, 30.03 on special meetings, and I will read it. Special meetings may be called to address and act on matters which should not be delayed until a regular meeting. So, our next regular meeting is next week. The only items that are urgent would be the, sorry, there was two of them on there. The voting, the elections, item 7I, and then the item 7J, which is to enter an agreement with an outside public works agency. all the other items should wait until our next regular meeting. Yes, again, they are important. Nobody is minimizing that. It is the fact that we called this special meeting and included these items in there. That's it, and save my time.
Okay. You'll write it down, Susan, at a time, she said she wants to say it. Okay. Yes, all these items are needed, and they are needed now. This discussion, we're gonna have, honestly, we're gonna have more special meetings, so, I mean, we have special meetings, that's what happens. And, the information was posted, so it's not like that, and then the council got it in a timely manner like they would with any other packet. So, we've had several town halls, everything leading up to this, so, I do believe this meeting was called for, well, I called it for a reason, and that's why we're having this special meeting. And there will be more special meetings. When you were elected to be here, at different times, not just on twice a month. It is what it is. There's work to be done in the city. That's all I have. So put her time back, and I guess that whatever the time was, council was, I would like to finish speaking for her remainder of 2 minutes.
Okay, so, again, the issue is not whether we can attend the meetings or not. The issue is that for these special meetings, it is very clear in our charter that these are to be held for urgent needs. A $15 million, CO, certificate of obligation, is not an urgent need for today, for tomorrow. For all these things that are noted for the certificate of obligation, it is not an urgent need. It can wait for a week. The others, as far as salary discussion, you know, again, it's a week that we have to wait, and or it's budget time in September, August. So these items, and they are not critical or urgency to be done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your time is officially over.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Street, did you want to finish your time?
Yes.
You have it on there for her
3
time?
minutes.
Okay, thank you.
This $15 million certificate of obligation, this is the first time it's come up to council. It has not been discussed. I have not seen an email. I have not been looped in on all of this. I saw part of the town hall Monday night where it was mentioned that this had been being planned for a year and it was called a bond. I heard nothing about it until it was in this packet. I think that we should have been in the loop on this. I know I didn't, I can't speak for the rest of the council, but I had no idea. And this does not give any particulars. It just gives blanket needs. It doesn't state anything in particular. It doesn't give particular costs. How did they come up with $15 million? I have no idea. It has not been discussed. I don't think that we can get all the discussion in tonight that we would need to make this decision. I think we need more information. I think we need more planning information. And this is not right to make a decision on something this big that's going to affect us until, I believe it was 56, excuse me. 2056. That's 30 years. We're gonna burden the citizens with $500,000 a year for 30 years. This is not something we should decide in a week. We should talk about this more. Thank you. I'm done.
You need your 7 seconds?
No, you're
call roll.
Councilmember Grant,
No.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez,
No.
Councilmember Street,
Yes.
Councilmember Molina,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca,
No.
Mayor Ryder.
No.
Motion does not pass.
Thank you. Okay, so back to the item, 6A, regular consideration and action on meeting minutes. 6A, regular meeting minutes, April 9th, 2026. Any discussion going back, it was Councilmember Grant, you had Snow, then Councilmember Street,
No.
then Molina. You have anything for the actual meeting minutes?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca?
No.
No. Councilman Lozano?
No.
All right. So do I have a motion?
Mayor, make a motion, we accept the regular meeting minutes dated April 9th, 2026.
Second.
Have a motion to accept regular meeting minutes, April 9th, 2026, first by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, second by Councilmember Grant. Please call roll.
Councilmember Grant,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez, Councilmember Street,
No.
Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca,
Yes.
Mayor Ryder.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to 6B, regular meeting minutes, April 16th, 2026. Councilmember Grant, do you have any discussion?
Good.
Councilmember Street, do you have any discussion?
No.
Councilmember Lynn, do you have any discussion?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, have any discussion?
No.
Councilmember Sanchez, any discussion?
No.
Councilman Lozano, any discussion?
No.
So I have a motion.
Mayor, make a motion, we accept the regular meeting minutes dated April 16th, 2026.
Second.
Have a motion to accept regular meeting minutes, April 16th, 2026, first by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, second by Councilmember Grant. Please call roll.
Councilmember Grant,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilmember Street,
No.
Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca,
Yes.
Mayor Ryder.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to 7. Items for individual consideration. 7A, discussion and possible action on approving ordinance 2026-4900, adopting a policy and establishing procedures for the identification and management of vexatious or abusive requesters under the Texas Public Information Act, providing for a reasonable amount of time to be spent without charge for repeat public information requesters, providing for definitions, authorizing reasonable limitations on requests, providing for notice, opportunity to respond, providing for appeal, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Okay. So we have that for 7A. Dr. Rowland.
council members, residents, stakeholders. This agenda item is on, we have been going through several meetings and several other organizational trainings. We've been working with the attorney. I think this was on the agenda one time before in reference to a process over 10 months ago. What you have before you is the ordinance coming from that we are wanting to adopt to establish a policy on moving forward with what we call vexatious requesters. For example, right now we can get an open record request for information that may take time. Time is the maximum we're able to charge per hour is 15 minutes, which was regulated by the state. Currently, we can also charge for copies, but if if it's an email form of communication, there's no charge. But let's say now someone requests all the emails from the mayor, or all the text messages or information from 10 years ago. That takes time to locate, redact, and provide that information. What is going on now is we have outside people who request things on permits, and so that takes a lot of time. Means we're bogging down all the employees on things that instead of moving and advancing the city, we're responding to these things. And so what this allows us to do is to be able to set a deposit. So like right now, if we get a request for all the mayor's or all the mayor's emails since she's been on city council, or all the mayor's text messages, the mayor will now have to go through that information, provide it to the city secretary, and that process takes time. And so now, right now, just the requester requesting that, that requester can then come in, don't come pick it up, don't pay for it, and it's just sitting there. What we are allowed to do is a fixation requester with that person, if they meet that threshold, and it's a threshold that's a strict threshold, not a threshold that we make up the city of Kirby. There's a threshold already identified by the state, which is why it says Texas Public Information Act, meaning something we did not make up. Now, the difference is that person will be required to put down a deposit. So if they don't come pick up the information, it was not just 8 hours, 8 real hours of time that I've taken already for some of the requests that has come by. So I'm pretty sure the residents, the time, right, the $15, which is the maximum you're allowed to charge, that I have to take the 8 hours, residents would have know that, you know, I get paid more than $15 an hour. But when I have to do these things that are not necessarily what we call operational and management, these are some of the policies that we can implement for those people who are abusing the system. This is not putting anything on any of regular citizens who want to get information. Remember, this body adopted a new software, just FOIA, which is currently being used. You can go in and it's been working fine. It's been working very well. And we'll be having an updated report on it so you all can see what did this technology allow us to be able to do. So I'll let our city secretary provide any guidance, and then we'll follow up with our attorney who drafted this ordinance as we move forward. Ms. Wilson.
Yeah. So we're just adopting a process in relation to how we move with ORR, since with the Just For It, we have noticed that we do have a lot of pending payment. A lot of people are requesting, they're not paying, they're not picking it up, so it just sits there. And this is one of the reasons why when we started talking with other cities, myself and the police secretary and the lawyer, this is something that other cities have adopted to cut down on that.
Attorney, if you have anything, if you have any questions, you know.
So, Texas law, under Texas Government Code 552.232 and 552.275 allows for this, and other cities do it. Basically what it does is it limits what a vexatious requester can do, so that you're not spending 100 hours a month dealing with someone that constantly asks for things. So this is allowed by Texas law, and other cities have done it, and it has worked pretty well for them.
Okay. All right, going to discussion on this item. Councilman Lozano, do you have any discussion?
Yes, I do. So just to understand this, Mr. Jones, this policy is going to be just to maybe implement a fee or a deposit fee, or so that anybody who makes a request and doesn't pick them up, they don't keep the deposit, or, I'm sorry, they don't get tasked with the deposit back?
Well, what this is actually gonna do is it's actually going to, the ordinance itself is gonna create the policy. And it's gonna be in accordance with section 552.275. And basically what is gonna happen is an annual time limit of 36 hours and a monthly time limit of 15 hours. It's not so much, our employees are, basically employees right now, you're not really allowed to charge so much. But this basically puts a time limit as to what can actually be put into fulfilling a request for a vexatious requester. And of course, there's a whole bunch of hoops to jump through.
Right.
You have to actually designate, the city secretary would actually designate it, well, hey, and then the city manager would review it. Well, he or she may or may not be a vexatious requester.
Okay, because my understanding and reading that government code was that a vexatious or abusive requester was somebody who does repetitive or redundant
Abusive,
requests.
yeah, it just
of
abuses the
records.
process.
And so like an example of somebody who did that is an individual who made like 35 requests from January of 2022 to July of 2024. So that's like, he asked for 40 parts of a, on their request, they made 40 parts. So I asked for city, departments, every text, every email, so their scope was really broad, and
Okay.
it was really.
So Councilwoman, let's look at what a vexatious requester is. And you look
So
at,
can I just say something real quick? Does my time stop with that when
No, ma'am.
your time answers? Okay, so then,
go ahead and say it.
okay, so are these, so the requests that are coming in then, are they, from our taxpaying residents? Are they voluminous, are they repetitive, are they redundant? Or would they fall within their rights of their, the TPIA, their Texas Public Information Act? And do you have any, data, current data, like within the past year of these individuals and their, like, what we're saying are vexatious requests? So.
And so, let me jump in there, stop the time.
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
So,
Keeping it consistent with everybody, there's no stopping the time.
Okay, so then I continue
Yeah, go ahead.
my questions for the 5 minutes?
Correct.
Okay.
Just like in the Senate and anywhere else.
Okay. So agencies can deny requests if they are deemed repetitive or redundant, not simply because they're burdensome. Because that does not, allow for transparency, and it's under the general laws for, to protect the rights to information, and that's under TML as well. So, for me, for them to put something up like this, if it's going to limit an individual who will make a request for records, and it's under their rights to make that request, then definitely I don't think we should be putting that limitation on them. Yes, for vexatious, for individuals that are asking for a lot of information that's really going to interfere with the city business, then yes, I understand that. But for something that's simple as routine, or routine as an open records request, then no. So that's all I have. Thank you.
If we can get the attorney to share, so we can keep apples and apples together.
Yeah.
We're not proposing anything other than vexatious requesters.
Right.
So to conflate the two is not what we're doing. This is specifically for vexatious requesters, and so Mr. Jones, can you share what a vexatious requester
And
is?
in the ordinance, a vexatious requester, I'm gonna read it to you, means an individual who within the preceding 12 months has made requests that are repetitive or duplicative, intended to harass, intimidate, or disrupt city operations, unreasonably burdensome in scope or frequency, or made without a reasonable expectation of obtaining meaningful information. So there's a criteria that has to be met. And the custodian of records, which would be the city secretary, she would say, okay, we're gonna designate Joe Blow as a vexatious requester because he requests 60 different, information requests on same thing over and over and over every month, okay? And then it would have to go to the city manager to actually be, okay, yes, approved, this is a vexatious requester. No, we're not trying to keep information from anybody that comes and does it lawfully. What we're trying to do, as other cities have done, is to stop people that just, are abusing the process and tying up city operations.
Mayor, just last thing I'll say, this, also there's some time limits on how much, once this person is designated, he or she, there's so much time that can be committed for this process, which again, We're saying that if city staff is bogged down hours and hours a week and not performing to the best of, to make the organization efficient, that's what the fixation request is. That's why the state has given us a definition.
And it's in the Public Information Act.
And it's in the public information, but that's the definition we're using. So we're not, this is not for everyday citizens who are requesting information. Okay, so you have to meet a threshold which is defined on how you become a fixation requester. And if you meet those criteria, if we identify you as that, then you will get a letter, let you know that, and we'll go through the process. But that's what this is for.
Okay. Councilmember Sanchez, you have any discussion?
Yeah, my question.
Mayor Tom, do you have any discussion?
No, no discussion.
Councilor Molina, have any discussion?
No, I don't have any discussion.
Councilor Street, have any discussion?
Yes. According to the House Bill 3106, I believe this was passed in 2017, that this is included in. It also says that elected officials of the United States, Texas, or political subdivision of Texas, and representatives of publicly funded legal service organization that's a 501c3 exempt organization are exempted from this section. So it doesn't affect council members if they need to make requests. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Thank you.
Your time is no more. Do you have anything else, ma'am? Okay. Councilmember Grant?
Just a quick thing. The way it works, checked with a couple other cities, and when it comes to one of these people that are using it, amount is set up and it goes into like an escrow account. And the possibility that actually they get money back, it just depends on what amount of time they take. But this is a way to ensure, as our city secretary pointed out, we've had a lot of people order things and they're sitting here. And that's time and money that would be lost. So this is also just more than an insurance policy. And if the person really thinks it's that important, that they need something from 10 years ago, which is an example that just amazes me, where it was done, that the money should be up front and that it should be properly deducted for the time that our employees put in. Thank you.
Thank you. So there has been instances, and this has been going on honestly since 2020, clogging the system. And when we say clogging the system, so for example, and there's been from this body also, there's members of this body, there's 2 members of this body who has actually done that also, where they've been repeat. So for example, one person asks for something, the next person asks for it. Then in the same circle, 2 days later, somebody else asks for it, and then somebody else asks for it. So my thing is, if the people who are doing the work that you say that you want the staff to do actual work, because they just can't, I mean, you don't want them to go making photocopies all day. And that's all that they're doing. What else, how can they get anything else done? So that means when customers come in and they're upset about the permits, or they're upset about other things or meetings, they're making records all day, they're making copies. Then on top of that, you have to redact. And we're not even talking about the cost, because it's costly, because a lot of times some of this stuff is not just in-house, it has to go to our city attorney. That's a completely separate cost that's not even passed on to the ones who are requesting. So we're talking about, it could be something being researched, and we always talk, everybody was talking about physical responsibility. It could be talking about a simple request can come in, and next thing you know, it turns into a $400, $300 request, because the attorneys had to look at it. That's factual. And also, too, the data was provided already to this body. We had before on this body about release of information requests before, and we had the breakdown, and you saw in those files people who were repeat and were asking for the same thing. Matter of fact, just recently, we have a city council member, Councilmember Street, did the same thing just recently. Is that, what was the point of order?
Yes, we're not allowed to,
Ask aspersions on council members.
and or talk about my name, and just address it.
But exempt from council members, and we understand that's what that would allude to, because she knows she's one of those people. So why would I not be able to, as a body sitting up here, I'm confused.
Mayor, my opinion is that you have a right to respond. If Walnut Street is opening up, saying that doesn't apply to council members, then you have a right to respond.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Appropriately.
Thank you. So going back to what I was saying, so,
Point out.
so,
She's calling her.
okay,
ID.
she
So,
opened up the floor to it. She said about being exempt from council members.
Mayor, go ahead and finish.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Ma'am, please don't interrupt me again. Thank you. So, going back to what I was saying. And obviously, by that, you know who I'm talking about. Point blank, period. So again, disrupting city operations. And after that report came out, when we actually set up on this body, and that report came out, we had those files showing the repeat offenders and what they were requesting over and over again, the same information. It's almost like they sit there and say, who, the next day, who's gonna request this or that. But what I'm getting at is, even that night, the next day it even started more. It was intentionally clogging the system. It's intentionally sabotaging the system. You can't say that you want people to work, and you want them to do work every day, but they're making copies and have to redact every day. And then also to the money. It's a lot of money that goes into this. But Mr. Jones, I would like you to, I am curious about the thing about saying that elected is like far as council, so they can actually, because we have been here talking about harass and disrupt city operations. Are they actually allowed to do that, either the city council member?
No.
Because, okay, I just want to make sure we understand that this actually would apply to them also.
You can't harass.
Okay.
As a city council member, it's important to realize that you can request anything in your official capacity. And that's what I would recommend that you do. If you want information, you request it in your official capacity. Because you're a council member first before once you become a council member, you're a council member. You're no longer private.
And Ms. Carissa had this conversation with us before about this.
Right.
Okay.
So request it in your official capacity.
Alrighty, so we have on 7A, so I have a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-4900, adopting a policy and establishing procedures for the identification and management of vexatious and abusive requesters under the Texas Public Information Act, providing for a reasonable amount of time to be spent without charge for repeat public information requesters, providing for definitions, authorizing reasonable limitations on requests, providing for notice and opportunity to respond, providing for appeal, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-4900, adopting a policy and establishing procedures for the identification and management of vexatious or abusive requesters under the Texas Public Information Act, providing for a reasonable amount of time to be spent without charge for repeat public information requesters, providing for definitions, authorizing reasonable limitations on requests, providing for notice and opportunity to respond, providing for appeal, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. First, have Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, second Councilmember Councilmember Graham.
Sorry.
Alright. Please call roll.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano?
No.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilmember Street?
No.
Councilmember Molina?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca?
Yes.
Mayor Gurder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to 7B, discussion on the structural condition of City Hall. Dr. Rowan and Chief Cardona.
Council residents, we have before you a brief presentation that we wanted to share. Obviously, we've had residents come up here and make these same being critical issues apparent. I think the last city council meeting, you had a resident that said the floor was horrible and, you know, she didn't want to trip and things of that nature. We had some things that happened this weekend with elections in reference to the building, and so we have a brief presentation where Chief Cardona is going to go through some information.
Thank you. Good evening, council. Thank you for having me as always. We're going to go into the structural integrity assessment that was done in the city in April, and some of the things that we started at the beginning assessing in reference to what we're seeing, experiencing at City Hall. But first of all, for people that don't know or understand contracting, our foundation is what supports the entirety of the load at City Hall. It supports the frame, it supports everything that you're standing on, including the walls. The photograph attached to this particular slide is now this is inside of our finance office. This was not here a year ago. The walls and the ceiling are separated. So that's something that we're going to note as we go along, why that's important to, why we had to take the steps that we did to assess it. Now, things that we're noticing, the combined cracking, everyone's been, especially council, anybody that's visited even the small quarters here at City Hall have noticed the cracks on the walls, on the ceilings. If you've gone into the restroom, you'll see separations. I'll show you pictures of those. You'll see ladder cracks in our mortar outside of brick and vertical cracks as well surrounding the building. We'll go into that. The things that we're also noticing is doors are sticking or fail to close. That also includes the vault that we have in the back. We've noticed sloping, uneven flooring. That was also noticed by 2 different engineers that came to do this assessment. There's obvious gaps in between walls and ceilings and floors. And one thing that they noted is that there was apparent heaving occurring, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a shift in the foundation where one side or the other is lifting up. And they said that was pretty apparent when they walked in. Now, part of seeing what we see visually, and I took this photograph when it rained this past week or 2. This is occurring on the sides and on the rear of the building, and there is no proper drainage moving the water anywhere other than it. So it's staying put, and that's also affecting the shift in the foundation. The water just stays pulled, it starts going under the foundation, it starts shifting. But the major issue that we also notice that when it's dry, it's shifting as well. Go ahead. This crack is right back here. That's gotten significantly worse. It's just an example of what we're seeing. You can see it all over City Hall. And it is a structural stress indicator. In December, photographs were taken. There's been a major shift in 6 months. For us, because we see it every day, we're seeing it gradually separate more and more. This is a plain one outside that we've been staring at for quite some time. That used to be level, it's no longer level. And it's, you can tell where one portion of the foundation, where it began and where it ended, it's slanted. There's no way to fix that unless the foundation's fixed. But that's just an example on the outside. Go ahead. This is one in December and one currently in April. These are before and after. The crack is getting wider. They're breaking apart. The danger about this on the outside is when you have large cracks like this, that means that the bricks are separating from the actual wall. At some point or other, it is going to fall. We can sit there and put mortar or grout or whatever in between to try and ease that and help it. It's still going to break apart because the foundation continues to shift. This is the restrooms right out here. We're noticing, keep in mind, we started off with the finance office, the separation from the ceiling from the wall, and then you're going to see another shift from ceiling to wall in the restrooms in both of them. The ceiling should not be separated from the wall. And that's become a little bit more apparent in the last 6 months. This is just within 6 months. That is a video. Dr. Rowland had these tiles fixed because, as you can see right next to me, they tend to buckle. And what we found was a crack that went from the front of the doors all the way into the council chambers, and we do not know at this time how far that goes or if there's more. The concern that we're running into, now he had to fix that. Obviously, this has to be operational. So he went in, I think it was Mr. Hernandez, Mo, he came through here and he fixed the tile so that people don't fall. We can't leave it like that to be inspected for a long period of time. We have to shut down City Hall. But that crack, if it's determined to be 1/8 of an inch, which is not a lot, it is considered a structural concern, which is very expensive. On the evaluation, there is a small portion to go up into the attic where the vault is. The vault is encompassed with concrete all the way around. It is taller than a person, so you're able to walk in. It's a walk-in vault. And they saw that the framing of City Hall is resting on top of the vault. Part of their assessment was that they believed at this point in time that is what's holding up City Hall. That terrified us when we heard it. Go ahead. Now, the problem with with the shift that's occurring with City Hall and the constant moving and the cracks, you're looking at what's going to affect it ultimately. We're looking at plumbing problems, which we've had. If you look at the very top of this photograph, you're going to see what used to be a water leak, and that happens with shift, things breaking. You're going to also might be looking at HVAC shifting if the movement continues, which is also being damaged. And the big thing also is the electrical. So I say conduit, but it is electrical wires. When they're pinned, they're trapped, they rub, it is a fire risk. So we began by doing a hydrostatic test. One of the things, part of the evaluation, the drainage, right, is the problem. But when the building is dry and it's still shifting, that means that there's a probability that there is a break underground that keeps the sediment wet and continues to allow the foundation to shift. We failed our hydrostatic test. The sewer pipe, this is our pipe. I did not put the video on there because it is absolutely not pleasant to see. They found multiple bellies, and what that means is there's slopes where there shouldn't be slopes in our pipes. When they drain the pipes to inspect it, they should not see water standing anywhere. And what that means is it's shifting. It's holding weight, it's holding water. If the water's not passing through, that means we're likely to get clogs, we're likely to have issues. In the long run, we failed it. The caking alongside of it, so part of having plumbing, as we all know, we have to maintain it, it has not been maintained. They could not determine if there was a break or not because it's so caked all the way around, but they do agree that they believe there is a breakage underneath or where the sewer runs. And I'll show you here in a little bit where our piping is currently at and what they're proposing. What they're stating at that point, because of what they found, is a replacement of 260 linear feet of sewer. This is our current plumbing, if you don't know, so everyone can see where it's running right now. It goes from the rear, there's a clean out in our rear restrooms where council and all the administration use the restrooms in the back. It goes around the back, alongside here, and then it takes a right towards headway. There's a couple of concerns with this. If you see there's trees alongside that fence, and the sewer's right next to it. I can guarantee you, and they guarantee as well, that there's going to be damage because of the roots. Go ahead. What they're proposing is they're trying to save the city money. They want to tap out and close out the current sewer line and go underneath to create a new line. They told me today they were just trying to save trees, save the money, because that is going to cost money to remove all that and to tumble it out. But it's up to council if y'all ever decide to help us with this building. We also did an asbestos test to be safe. That none was detected. That was the only good thing I got out of this assessment. I'm sorry. Now, some of the things that we're noticing, if you haven't noticed, if you walk out these chambers and you go like towards the restroom, you look at the ceiling, we see them here, you can see the cracks and the lines. Over there, the drywall is starting to fall through. The concerns and safety risks that we are taking by not taking care of this is that it falls on an employee or it falls on a citizen. Not just that, the fire risks alone are an issue. The trip hazards. This right here, that citizen wasn't wrong. Somebody, that's uneven flooring. If you're not paying attention or lifting your feet and you slide on that, you're going to trip. This is occurring all over where we have tile. Now, we can't see it on carpet. It's carpet doesn't give you that vibe unless it's an earthquake, but we are seeing it with tile. The electrical hazards, well, we talked about that, and also water intrusion. That is a matter of time. The cracks are not just on the walls and the ceiling, it's cracking the windows. Obviously, there's liabilities to not doing anything about it. Just like the citizens can be negligent, we can be negligent. There's premises liability, there's injury lawsuits that can happen, and regulatory penalties. The conclusion is there is a structural concern. That's the bottom line. It is increased liability, that is a fact, if it's ignored. And a professional evaluation was required for this. Not just code enforcement, although we had a code enforcement expert in the room at the time. That is my assessment, Dr. Rowley.
Do you have anything that I don't require after this discussion?
Council, it's important that we, take in this information. There is what you see, there is what you know. So like looking at the building, oh yeah, it looks like something. The reason why we had those tests done is because it's important that a risk assessment of the building was done. And we're providing you that information. It is upon you all to make a decision on next steps. That's all I have.
All right, so for discussion, Councilor Lozano. Councilor Lozano has some discussion. Councilor Sanchez.
I don't really have a discussion. I just want to say that obviously you can see the condition of this building. I've been here a couple of years, and I do see that it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's all I have to say.
Mayor Pro Tem Amadaka, any discussion?
So I know that when we have people from other cities come over, we see it every day, so we don't necessarily notice it every day. But when we have new people coming in, I'm sure they look around. And but another thing, the safety issue. Again, like I can see the floor there buckling. That's dangerous because somebody comes in and is not paying attention. First thing they're going to do is trip. And out front also, I've sat out there many times and I can just see the waves in the concrete. So definitely this needs to be addressed. That's all I have.
Councilor Molina, any discussion?
No, I don't think.
Councilor Street, any discussion?
Yes. I realize that the structure of the building needs to be better maintained. I don't have a problem with fixing the issues. But if this is building up to we need a new city hall, that is not what we need. I don't know anybody's house in Kirby who doesn't have a crack in it. It's the nature of the land we're sitting on. Everybody has issues with their slab at some point. And this city hall was built in 92, 93, right? My house was built in 72. I'm not gonna demolish it and build a new one just because it's got cracks. I have some heaving going on at my house too. We deal with it. I realize we need to fix that tile. We need to do something to make it level. Got it. We can do that. I don't believe that we need this to lead up to, we need a new city hall. Because not everybody in town can buy a new house just because they have cracks in their ceilings or there are issues with the building. We can fix it. And I have no problem with us fixing it. What I would like is a cost of the items that we have that need to be fixed. That is what you should bring to council so we have an idea of what kind of money we're talking about. That's what I think we should do next. Thank you.
Councilmember Grant, do you have any discussion?
Yes, I do. Well, first of all, the exterior part, the 200-something linear feet that are under dirt, that's really, believe it or not, that's the easiest thing to fix. The problem is, this foundation is cracking and it's bowing this way. That's why it's coming up here. Remember, folks, all the plumbing, when they call it stub out, when you see a foundation going in, you see all the pipes sticking up? Because they're in the cement. As this foundation moves back and forth, the piping is not metal anymore, it's Schedule 40 PVC. I used to sell it, I know exactly what's under this, in the cement, okay? The more it moves, the more it stresses. The next thing you do is you have a crack, or a joint breaks. What does that entail? That entails a jackhammer. My daughter lives 2 subdivisions over, they just spent $24,000 jackhammering the foundation to get to the plumbing that's inside the foundation. Because no matter what you do, when you start dealing with what's going on right here, this is serious. Now, one thing you can do immediately is to go in there and re-level. Go under and run into the hair house and, level it out. But understand this, everything in Kirby, including my house, is sliding that way. I've got pretty much the same, but not as bad as this. If that ran, what do you say that's from there to there is what, 35, 40 feet? And did you find out how much further it goes this way?
Not without destroying the foundation.
That's my point too, but what I'm saying is, it's there. So my suggestion, if we're gonna look for money and stuff, find out what it takes to level the foundation, take the stress off the pipes. That's gonna be your most expensive thing to begin with. And the only thing I caught that I didn't agree with, and anyway, you don't have to necessarily run under it, you can run lateral to it. It costs you less money to dig laterally and run new pipes lateral to the old ones, not go under it, okay? It's about half as less expensive. It's a lot easier to deal with. And don't see this trick thing you've seen on TV that suddenly every freaking plumbing company has got where they run the deals down through the pipes, because it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't relieve the pressure on the pipes. So yes, I do agree with Councilmember Street, which is unusual, but yes, we do need to find out how to get this building level, because I can remember coming out here as a kid to visit our friend, my aunt Mary. This used to be cotton, sorghum, and corn. It's all black soil and it moves. That's the big problem we have. And the stabilization out here is horrible, okay? So even though this is my last show, I strongly suggest that the first thing you look at is leveling this foundation. And start, because any repairs that you make, anything that you do, if you don't strengthen the foundation and bring it back in, you're wasting your money. Thank you.
To everyone's point, for example, Mayor Pro Tem Amadaka said, so we've had people, I've had meetings with people who were in and, we'll be talking about something completely different, and just, we're walking out, for the first time, I'm not gonna say the person's name, but we're walking out, the first thing they said, they were just like, the building's gonna fall down one day. And I was like, what? And, they were like, just not telling you, whatever, and they was like, you see all this? They were pointing stuff out to me, and then I remember with the electrical for the mics, for the sound in here, this conversation that was had, at a time with one of the city secretaries, about how, the wire was so, anyway, there's a lot of issues in here. But Chief Cardona and Dr. Rowland, I'm not sure which one, but I know we should have some type of, there has to be some cost estimate that has to be at least a roundabout number. I was pretty sure that y'all did not just provide this without a cost estimate, correct? Okay, so can we get just go ahead and get a cost estimate, so at least of what we know, just an estimate right now, so everybody can think it's just not it's not $20,000, $30,000.
So I want to clarify as well, when me and Dr. Owen were talking about this, or when he's talked about it at town halls, it's never been, oh, I want it to be just building a new city hall. I'm not sure where that's being misinterpreted. And I completely respect that. That's not, I got two quotes in front of me. One of them of what it would cost to build from the ground up, and the other one is just to do the remodel. We even went out of our way as well to contact our insurance to see if they would cover it. So it's not a matter of one or the other, but the important thing for the citizens and everyone to understand is that we have to be responsible with whatever money we are about to use or how we're about to use it. And what that means is, yes, it's going to be less to remodel. That is a fact, and I'm about to give you that. But what I was also informed is that there's a possibility that it could happen again, and we're spending the same amount of money again. So is it cost effective to pay this short term for fix it to 3-4 years, to then go in the following 3 to 4 years and pay almost $1 million to do it again? For example, it happened in Congress, same issue, same concern. They did piers, they leveled it out, and while the city manager was sitting in his office, it blew out under him. So piers fail as well, and they had to rebuild all over again. So those are things that the citizens need to be considerate of. We're thinking about the totality of it all, not just because, hey, we want new city hall. That's not what I've ever heard Dr. Rowland say, or myself. It's a matter of how we use our resources long term to benefit the citizens the best.
Just before you move on, Chief, the difference of the many different repairs here versus someone's home, that comparison was made.
Yes, foundation issues or concerns that are seen or admitted are violations. And there are requirement laws that require us to enforce those to make sure that they get fixed. Why? Because it goes back to public health and safety. Yes, it's at their home. Yes, that they pay for it. Yes, that it's important and valuable to you. But the one thing we cannot do is observe the violation, know it's there, and then be negligent in doing something about it. So that's very important that if we're holding other people responsible for maintaining their properties and taking care of it, that we also hold that same standard. How do we look as employees having 12-inch grass out front, and we're out here, the police are saying, hey, you gotta cut your grass. So it's important that we reflect and manage the in-house so that we have a representation to provide and a standard that citizens can say, okay, I know you're tagging me for these shrubberies, these trees, but look at yours. Because that's the argument every single time. So how do we combat that? We also have to take care of our own house.
Because this could be deemed uninhabitable, correct?
It can. It can get to that point. So I'll go straight into this. I didn't mean to go into
Chief, before you talk about the cost, we were trying to not spend any money, because that's why we have insurance. We have insurance with TML-IRP, Texas Municipal Risk Pool, and we went through the same process as if we got an accident in the car, or if the building would have been struck by lightning. And we tried to, well, we didn't try, we submitted that claim. And And so, Ms. Wilson, can you walk council through the process of what they asked you in reference to? Was it structurally because of weather related, or was it because of preventive maintenance?
Well, what they asked me was, did something occur? I told them we don't know, we just have noticed more issues happening. They're gonna send an adjuster out, but they did say they're gonna send an adjuster out tomorrow, but they did add, they said if there's something breaking underneath, that is something that they would, you know, consider. That's the word they said. So we'll have more from the first people who came out. They brought 2 engineers, and so we'll get the adjuster from TMLRP to see what they're willing to do as well.
Thank you. So I will go ahead and begin with the remodel cost estimate only. The foundation, they're anticipating, and this is coming from also 2 engineers, a code enforcement expert, contractors that we had in abundance here, communicating with myself and Armando. We're expecting up to 30 piers and 15 more if there's a bigger issue. If they start fixing the foundation, and this goes on both sides, if they start fixing the foundation and the walls start coming down, which is what is being anticipated, the minute the drywall exposes the interior, they're going to be forced to get the building up to code automatically. Even if it's coming from the ceiling, walls come down, that is going to force other concerns, which they put this in the remodel in case. This includes a demo of walls, ceilings, and floors, so it's in there. It also includes that we, as administration and with Dr. Rowland, we have to think of the macro level issues, not just, hey, this is a problem, but how does that affect us? How does it affect the employees? This quote also includes temporary facilities. When they're fixing the foundation and remodeling City Hall, we will not be able to stay here. That is a main concern. Also, that includes trailer being where we have to place it, porta potties, we have restrooms. This quote will not include IT services. This quote does not include electrical, or maybe electrical. I didn't see that on here, but oh my goodness. So this also includes drywall, tape, flow, and floor install. When they go to shift it and fix it, all this is going to start cracking. They're going to have to redo it. So that includes that as well. Crown molding, punch work, cleanup, change orders if necessary, which means we've heard this before with our other contractors for the roads. That means there's possibility of a higher cost. There's also, they did mention that there is also a possibility of doing payment plans as well, if that's the case. If insurance doesn't take care of it, we're left with this, there's an option for that. The total for a remodel right now, as it stands with the trailers and everything I've discussed, is $354,014. They have also noted what I've already, in the quote, what I've already explained, that if the city ventures to fix this, which is very important that you guys consider, it is a possibility it will occur again. If we don't take proper measures, it will cost again. So the quote for a new building, I was informed, was between 1.75 million to 2.1 million. Now, the one thing I have not brought in here because we didn't, for whatever reason, is the cost that we've spent so far in this building alone in the last 6 years. So I don't have that number, but if it need be, I can always send it to Dr. Rowland. But we just recently paid Dr. Rowland for AC, that was 10 grand, correct?
No, actually, 15, and it was two of them in the same year.
So those are things that everyone needs to collectively think about. It's not just, okay, well, we're building a new city hall, but what is more cost effective where we stop spending so much money on building issues or building concerns? Yes, we've had issues with our toilets as well, the same one up front and rear. Those are things that, okay, yeah, on the long run, this looks like a better price. The amount seems a little bit more reasonable, obviously, than a brand new building, but let's add up everything else that we spent on this as well. Are we saving? Or are we now paying for a used car?
So Chief is talking about the shifting. So when, for example, we pay for someone to come out and fix our doors with the shifting mean. So like the doors, the front door going out, it starts to lean and it's off alignment. This front door right here, when it comes to lock that door, or any of the offices, or even the vault, we'll come and bring somebody out, they'll charge us to fix it and say, hey, we'll be back in a couple, and we've had that happen since I've been here 2 or 3 times, in reference to the shift that's happened, and it brings it out of alignment, and then obviously everybody wants a door that opens and closes for security purposes. That's just an example of several doors that we've had. This is just discussion.
Okay, it's just discussion. Do you have anything else, Chief?
No, no.
All right, thank you all. All right, moving on to 7C. 7C, discuss and take action on a resolution 2026-23435, directing publication of notice of intention to issue combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation in one or more series of the maximum principal amount of $15 million for the purpose of paying in whole or in part contractual obligations incurred to 1, renovate, improve, and equip existing municipal buildings and facilities housing the governmental functions of the city, including the city hall, municipal court, and utilities administrative facilities. 2, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and equip municipal court facilities and facilities physically attached thereto, including administrative facilities and an emergency command center. 3, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and equip streets, sidewalks, trails, bridges, parking structures, and drainage improvements, together with rights of way, acquisition, traffic and street signalization, landscaping and lighting improvements. 4, acquire, construct, improve, repair, expand, and equip municipal parks and recreational facilities generally accessible to the public. 5, acquire, construct, improve, repair, expand, and equip improvements to the city's waterworks and sewer system. 6, acquire vehicles and equipment for various city departments, including the police department, the fire department, and public works. 7, purchase of materials, supplies, equipment, machinery, buildings, land, and rights of way for authorized needs and purposes, including in relation to the aforementioned capital improvements. And 8, payment of professional services in connection therewith, including legal, engineering, architectural, and physical fees, and the cost of issuance. Dr. Rowland.
City Council, residents. I won't go into some of the statements that have been made, but I'll stick to what we've been communicating. Many of you residents watched our town hall meeting that we had just this week Monday. It was a culmination of conversations that had been happening from this year since coming back. So I count, we had a utilities town hall meeting March 3rd, 2020. So residents who are wanting to know this is this sheet. For city council who participated, this is this sheet. And for residents who want a copy of the opportunities where we talked about these things over and over again. We had utilities town hall meeting March 3rd, 2025. That's when I first came in. We had this town hall meeting and we talked about the garbage rate and utility rates. We broke down piece by piece where we were, where we had been for the last 7 to 10 years, and this body made a decision. We then had an economic development town hall talking about why we needed to center economic development in our community. We had a budget town hall meeting. Then I implemented for the first time something called Coffee with the City Manager, September 4th, 2025. Then we had another budget town hall meeting, September 22nd, 2025. Then we had a code enforcement town hall meeting, October 15th, talking about some of the things we were working with some of our staff and plans in reference to cleaning up our community. Then we walked through Parks and Recreation, how the jewel of the city of Kirby was Friendship Park and the other parks, and what we needed to do to make those investments from the capital improvement plan. We talked through, residents came, they wrote on papers. So I don't understand why people are saying as if they just heard it. Maybe they just first time participating, but the city has done an outstanding job of communicating and engaging with residents. If you see some of the work on the walls, where residents took their time out to write different things that they wanted to see from several of our town halls. I have more. But if a person never came, they wouldn't know. And so I asked, what's very important is the things that we're going to talk about in this not to exceed $15 million CO are projects that we went very in depth on this last year. But many of you who've been here 20 years know that these are things that have been impacting the community for the last 10. And so I don't know why today it's some new thing. Either you want, how do we fix the roads? How do we not have water getting again? How do we invest in our parks? How do we not, the buildings from 1993, we have fire truck from 1993, right? What are we saying? How much more longer can we go? And to compare this to your home, let me give you an example since you want to use that. That's like you saying, a home today, an average house costs about $325,000. And so that $325,000 for that average home, how many people have the ability to go, walk into the home, write a check for $325,000? Not many. So you use a financial tool called a bank, and you take out a mortgage. And is your mortgage 1 year, 5 years? It's usually 30. What is the difference between what the city of Kirby is saying that we need to do for our residents for things that we have been talking about 10 years or more? So I wasn't here when you had the opportunity to do it 10 years ago. But our job as staff right now is to bring forth the information to you all for you all to make the best informed decision. We had a capital improvement town hall going over all these things again. What day was that? December 15th. So we invited the community out again to engage on capital programs. And then you'll see, again, the date on it, December 15th, where people's writing about the parks, writing about streets, writing about water and sewer. January 13th, the community master plan. We had the planning and zoning do a kickoff for that conversation to talk about the same things. We had a coffee with the city manager, March 16th. We had a community master plan kicked off by economic development around similar conversations. What are we doing in the future of the city of Kirby for the next 20 to 30 years? We had a community town hall meeting April 15th where we had every department sitting up here and went through the same thing for over an hour and a half. Then this week, on Monday, we invited all the naysayers, all the people who had something to say but never come to a meeting, to come join us so we can resolve the issues or the angst that people in the community were having. Every year we had a packed house. For those who missed it, people asked questions. People were supportive of the plan that we put forward. And so I don't understand why all of a sudden it's like that no one knew about this thing. We specifically had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 meetings. Now, I can't speak for when I wasn't here. talking about are things that the community has needed to change or improve over the last 5 to 10 years. I don't know. So we had a problem that has come to us. Our responsibility as staff to provide solutions and resolve to the issues. So let's go into the mechanism on which we're using. So I think there were some comments made in reference to why do it this way. I think I got something from the news. Did we communicate to the residents? I just told you, we communicated. We had 13 meetings specifically going over everything that is in the CO. And that's not even counting the city council meetings that we talked about this. So, what I'm, the process in which we're going through, there are different mechanisms for financing. It's not nothing new that Dr. Rowland created, that the finance person created, that our financial advisor created, that our bond counsel created, that the mayor and council created. This is something that every city that has a master plan, that is following their plans, using preventive maintenance, this is what they do. This body or this council in 2028 brought a bond to the residents, and they approved that for 2018, excuse me, I said 2018, for $6.2 million to fix Ackerman Road as a main street and some subsections towards that. It was just that main thing, streets. From 2018, what was the plan to move forward to resolve the other issues that were influenced in the community? When I got here, I didn't see one. We just 100% completed Ackerman Road last week, 2026. So most communities are doing using some sort of financial instrument every 5 to 7 years. Why? Because that's how you finance long-term debt. Why are we acting like this is new? So, for everyone who's had the opportunity to engage, have a conversation about what we're trying to do, I want to just share a couple things. We also have our financial advisor here as well, and we'll kind of go through, but I don't want to belabor this. I just want to share what a certificate of obligation is. If you didn't have the opportunity to look it up, a certificate of obligation is a municipal financing tool authorized under the Texas Local Government Code 271. That's what it is. Financing tool. Just like you have a mortgage and you go to the bank. That's the tool we're using. Is that the only tool? No. That is the tool that we brought forward in reference to the critical area needs that we need to have for infrastructure and public service. COs do not require voter approval, only public notice in the waiting period, because the issues or the things that are in the certificate of obligation are supposed to be critical. Not critical meaning like yesterday, but, critical like, yesterday, but again, we just talked about some of the things from our wastewater, some of the things that are issues that have been issues for years. We've had a report from 2022 on the water well. And so, if you ask, well, what have we done with it? There's some council members who approved the process then. What money did we have to fix those issues right now in 2026? There is none. So I don't understand, what are we saying? I know some may be mad because maybe it's the person delivering the conversation, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what's right for the residents of this community. City Council believes that this is important. And based on whatever decision they make is on them. They're responsible. In our conversation that we've had time and time again in our 13 meetings, we referenced several things. This, on the agenda, is an opportunity for us to provide notice of intent. That's what this is. Is this the only conversation we're going to have about this? No. I just showed you we've been talking about it 13 times. Do we want to have additional conversations about this? Yes. And we were going to continue to do that. So for the people who, I don't know what transparency looks like, when you go from 0 to 13. That seems really good. And so understanding that, but you got to show up. The people who always claim transparency, you ask, well, have you showed up to one of the meetings? Obviously, then it wouldn't be transparent because you didn't show up. And so, like, one of the employees said today, the staff is not making any decisions. We're providing information. And we're on the same team. Shared governance is what we're doing when staff provides and brings up information and been talking about the same thing. And now the representative government, which is the citizens of Kirby, have elected a body. That's why we have elections. And so I'm not understanding. Either we support the democracy that we believe or we don't. But you can't have it both ways. Are we the only city doing this? No. This is how other cities get financing. When you don't do these things, so there's no way around this. You say, well, how are we going to finance this? You don't want to necessarily go, you don't want to go to the open market. Well, going to the open market is what we're doing, but you don't want to go to a bank and say, well, hey, I need a loan for a water tank. Right? You can do some of those things, like some of the things we're looking to do. I want to share with you all briefly 25 cities that have issued a certificate of obligation between 2024 and 2025. Because some people think that this is new. I made it up. West Place, which is West University, which is by Houston. What are their key projects they used for cast iron water line replacement? Isn't that one of the things that we're trying to do? They did something for their water plant distribution. 5.4 million. They did something from a street water pump station upgrades. They did an elevated groundwater storage tank for 1.1 million. They did a drainage improvements new system. Texas City, which is in Galveston County, construction of a new municipal complex. Current city hall was 70 plus years old. Expansion of engineering public works facility, renovation of a public library, HVAC replacement, construction of a new fire station. What we're saying is not new. Other cities are doing it. It may be our first time. And that means we get to do this together. We have Bryan College Station. They adopted their capital improvement projects within that time frame. They adopted the whole plan. This is not a one-year thing. This is what we've looked at over a 3-year period based on the infrastructure investments that we've had to make for 3 years. This is something that we've said before. You have the city of McKinney, city of Bryan, for those who are writing down, city of Robinson, city of Heath, city of Denton, city of Fort Worth, Hayes County, El Paso County, Conroe, Georgetown, Pflugerville, Leander, Frisco, Allen, Wichita Falls, New Brunswick, we know about them, Kyle, Cedar Park, Pearland, Sugarland, Waco, and Round Rock, just to name a few cities. And so, parks and recreation facility upgrades, utility system maintenance and capacity projects. These are all the things we've talked about. So again, I don't want to belabor. I have a lot of data and information. And so I will just stop there. We also have some Ms. Ann and different people here to speak, but I guess we'll save it for after city council's questions.
Did she want to speak first? Do you want to speak first, or you want to wait now?
Honorable Mayor and council members, Dr. Rowland, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Mayor, I defer to the council if it'd be helpful for you to put your questions out there, and then when I respond and visit, I can try to answer the questions, or I can go ahead and talk a little bit now. It's the pleasure of the council.
So I would, if you would like to go ahead, I would probably talk a little bit now, provide some information, and then I'll go and ask down the line if you talk more about discussion.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, no, I mean for you to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not me, that's all. No, I'm sorry. For you to talk.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
So, what Dr. Rowland said is correct. Certificates of obligation are a debt instrument.
Ma'am, can you please speak a little louder? Thank you. Louder. Is it on? You just have to speak a little louder.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So, as Dr. Rowland said, certificates of obligation are a debt instrument that are used by cities, counties across the state of Texas. The communities that we work with, those that work to try to put together comprehensive capital improvement programs that are looking to be strategic and try to plan for when they know that there's going to be improvements that need to be made. Those communities oftentimes use certificates of obligation. As Dr. Rowland said, it is a process, and Dr. Rowland, did you give them these? Okay, okay. Let me just talk a little bit about the process. What you're doing tonight is called just a notice of intent. You're not issuing certificates of obligation. You're not locking into a debt obligation today and an interest rate. What you're doing is you're informing the community about what the city is evaluating and the process that you're undertaking. Part of this then goes into the newspaper of general circulation once a week for 2 consecutive weeks, and then it also goes on your website. The intent is to make sure that the community understands what the city is looking to do. There is a minimum requirement between the first publication that you have and when you actually issue certificates of obligation, which is the binding part of it, of 45 days. And that's to allow the process to become more specific, to let the community have engagement, for you to get the feedback, for you to be transparent with the community, and let them know what the city council is evaluating. Based on this, the timetable and the 45 days, on a preliminary basis, if this is something that the council is interested in, we would not be back before you until July 9th. And it's July 9th that we would come back and we'd have a specific dollar amount. We would have specific amortization over certain years, and we would have an interest rate for your consideration. At that point in time, on July 9th, that would be the binding obligation. So it does, this process is, like I said, is intended to give time and transparency for the council and for the community. One of the things that we're very careful about is the useful life of the assets. So if you're gonna finance something that has a 20-year useful life, then we focus on that. If you're gonna finance something that has a 30-year useful life, we are focusing on that. We don't wanna have a situation where what you finance is no longer working or no longer in place, and you're still having to pay bonds on it. So we are very mindful of that. There's several different ways you can do it. Most of our clients use a weighted average life calculation, and I can walk you through that. Some of our clients stair step it, but there's a number of ways that can be done, but we are very, very mindful of that. I think that the process in going to the municipal markets, you get tax exempt interest rates, and so that makes it more affordable. Sometimes banks, if you were doing something really short, like 5 years, maybe 10 years, times when our clients are doing really short issues, we do go and do direct placements with banks. But if you're looking at potential repayment of 20 years, or maybe even 30 years based on the useful life of your asset, banks are really not the optimal entity to do that. The municipal market is accustomed to seeing cities across Texas, certificates of obligation. There's a very active market for municipal bonds, and even in this environment we have right now where there's a lot of geopolitical uncertainty going on, there's still a very, very strong municipal market. And it's because ultimately at the end of the day, they're looking at the community's full faith and credit that's going to repay the obligation. And so that's just kind of a high level. And if you have any more specific questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay, we'll start with discussion. Thank you, ma'am. Councilor Lozano.
Okay, so, first of all, this is for the city manager. Thank you for having all those townhouses and putting them on Facebook Live. And as you know, there are some individuals that cannot make it to the meetings in person, so they will watch on Facebook Live. Unfortunately, they're unable to comment because the city doesn't give access for individuals to comment. And so, also, these scheduled townhalls, I feel that that's the reason we hired you. To have these types of town hall meetings and everything, that's in your job. So it's not something that I think would be for you to call out and say, I did all of these things. That's generally, basically, part of you. So, the other thing is that you have mentioned the large cities that have applied for these certificate of obligations. These are big cities with tax revenues that are way higher than ours. And so that cannot be compared. So in watching one of the town halls, you talked about the fire truck, that the fire department would need a fire truck. So I want to know if there was an attempt to apply for other grants to cover for some or all of the cost of those fire trucks before we look into certificate of obligations. If so, which grants were applied for? Or can we ask that grant company that was hired back in January of 2026 to seek out some of those grants? $15 million for a certificate of obligation, my understanding is for emergency situations or unforeseen circumstances. And that's what they were originally made for or established for. My understanding is that then the city started taking advantage of that and are now using those certificates of obligation to circumvent the voter approval. So it does not require voter approval, but it does utilize tax revenues and other taxable sources. So that would be the taxes that our residents would pay. We already pay high property taxes, and now Bexar County is also proposing to increase our taxes. We recently raised the rates on the water bills for our residents, and another rate hike will occur in June of 2026. Not to mention, the cost of living is going up. Our gas, our groceries, housing, everything. So, on top of that, we're wanting the residents to pay an additional tax so that the certificate of obligation, can pass. And along with the Bexar County tax rate increase, we will be placing an extreme tax burden on our residents. So, having said that, yes, you've mentioned in general what those monies would be used for. So, when we come back in July, on July 9th, is that when the actual information will be provided as to what those $15 million are going for? Whether it's, let's say, fire truck, 3 million. I don't know, fixing City Hall, it's another whatever million. And so, what I would like to do is see a breakdown of that, before the July 9th meeting. And that's all I have.
I'll just briefly share, council member. Yes, we have actually went to get look to work with our grant company, but we've also looked for grants for fire service. We actually found a grant, Helping Hands, that they have submitted for. We had Ms. Gomez, Kathy, the director of the senior center, work with the city hall and administer. So Barrett County has an outside grant funding opportunity. The city of Kirby, we submitted a grant on behalf of the fire department. So we asked each department to bring forth a project idea that we could submit that was between $10,000 and $50,000. The fire department was the department in which we used for them to get some equipment that cost about $30,000 to $40,000. We did not receive the grant, but Ms. Gomez did ask for us to, figure out why. We wanted some feedback so we can prepare and get ourselves up. Most of those grants for outside agency grants from Barrett County are for nonprofit organizations. Was the first thing we learned. But the second thing was, for us, how do we move forward? So that's the first thing. Second thing, if anybody did a Google search, whether it be council members or residents, the fire trucks aren't given anymore or haven't been given in a very long time. Or the city of Kirby would have had one if it was that easy. And so what we want to share is that there's some things that basic, when people are involved in the process, there's some things that, that's very simple. We've tried to do the best we can, and I've brought a solution working with the Kirby Fire Department. What they've communicated, and we said it in the town hall meetings, is that it takes about a 3-year wait to request it. So we're saying, hey, we already have an old fire truck, so we need to request it if it's going to take 3 years, which means we wouldn't get it till 2029. And so we're taking the next necessary steps to be able to request it and then work through what we need to do to get there. And I think that is smart. So I know it's part of my job, but 13 is not. So if we looked at the last 7 city managers, they had 0. Well, we'll give them 1. And so there's a difference between a manager who knows what they're doing, a manager who wants to be engaged. But over the last 3 years, those are the facts. And so yes, it's part of my job because I want to engage with the community because that's what y'all asked me to do. But then you can't ask me to do something and then behind the scenes don't really want it to get done. And so the 13 town hall meetings that we've had on behalf of all citizens is what I have done because I made it very important. And it's not just town halls though. We have a town hall 1 month, city manager coffee the next month. And we rotate it. Why? Because we want to make sure that we're engaging people at night, in the morning, different times. And so yes, kudos to our staff. It's not just me. To our staff who's doing a great job. And so that's part of it. Second, one another questions by July 9th, yes, we'll have the projects lined out with numbers that the city council will be able to vote on. And so this process is not something that we take lightly. I do have several. Robinson is a small community. Heath is a small community. So there are small communities. But a quick Google search, you will get that. Also, the state has a list of cities that have applied for, because it's not just our process. Our process is just the beginning. Once we get this information together, we have to submit this to the Secretary of State, or AG.
Texas AG.
Okay, Texas AG, Attorney General, to make sure that this is proper. But then they have a list on the state's website. that lists all the cities because they want to be transparent. And so, again, we're not doing anything that is not transparent. We're being actually very extra transparent because we know we have people who say we don't. But what we're doing is trying to make sure that we answer every question. And we bring viable solutions for our community. Let me ask you, and it's not for one, this is generally. Yes, things are going up. Bexar County, the state, everywhere. But the question I have to ask, why didn't it happen 5 years ago? Why didn't it happen 4 years ago? Why didn't it happen 3 years ago? Why didn't it happen 2 years ago? It didn't just happen today. And so when we went through the assessment in March, we've been talking about the city of Kirby that had not increased rates from 7 to 10 years. So Bexar County increasing their rate has nothing to do with us, right? Nothing to do with us. Now, they are increasing theirs because guess what? They took the responsibility to make sure that they were doing preventive things that they needed to do over the several years. What I'm saying is I don't want to compare us to Bexar County. What I want to do is to make sure that residents have everything they need to feel safe and protected like we say. For police cars, public works, fire, roads, streets. This is what we hear. To get our sewer lines. So all these things are the same things we've heard over and over again. Yes, and so we want to make sure that we're being cognitive of the cost. We will be working through together. Ms. Ann has shared that there's a process that takes place versus how we communicate and notify in the paper. We'll have additional town hall meetings and engage. But that's the process. Once a decision is made today, either way, the process will take place. If the decision is not made today, then it stops there. If a decision is made today, we didn't move further in the next steps. We'll move forward to provide publication to the local newspaper for publication on Wednesday, May 13th and Wednesday, May 20th, and post the notice on the City Hall's website, because that's required. But these are part of the process we're going to take this on to make sure residents are engaged. If you seen how many citizens comments came, I think there was 2 against it. I think when we had a town hall meeting and we had a pretty packed house, that people were for it, right? So just to want to make the disclaimer of the citizens who, again, I want to speak for them on why they was against it. Hopefully, as we continue to work together and work through this together, they will see that this is for their best interest. First publication notice intent May 13th. Comments on the second draft. We'll distribute the third draft to the POS, which is to the newspaper. Our second publication notice will be May 20th, and then we'll send out the POS. And so our days start counting. And then we'll just continue to work through pulling all the information together. We'll have a request paying agent and bidder, so that's part of where we have a financial advisor, which is Hilltop Securities, who Ms. Ann, I think she said at our last city council meeting, she has worked with the city of Kirby over 30 years, right? Right, and so it means we have steady, consistent people helping us move forward this process. From that, we have a due diligence call on June 15th. We'll receive our ratings and insurance qualifications. And then at the same time, we're working through making sure we have town hall meetings and engagement with citizens. So again, I just wanted to give us a little context to where we didn't just pull this out. Yes, if residents who don't want to come to City Hall and they want to watch it at home on Facebook, they're more than welcome to send an email with their questions. But no, our city council has disabled comments, and so if citizens have something they want to do, they will provide it like many other residents have. And so I'll be sharing with you all next week some of those things, right? You have negative and you have positive, but again, we get it. And so again, the majority of residents who have engaged, the majority of residents who have written on this says that they're for it. honest with you, I don't know. The city of Kirby does not generate, this is just like I said, if we're gonna buy a home, and our home costs $350,000, we can't walk in and write a check for that, but the way we get that home is to pay over a period of time. So we have two buckets. We have a 20-year bucket and a 30-year bucket, and we're gonna amortize that, and so let's say it's 28 years this payment will take. That's how we are able to get these things done, but not waiting 28 years to actually get it done. So it's very simple, just like your home mortgage, or if you need to finance a car. Obviously, you know cars are being financed 7 and 8 years now, because again, your notes, right? So I'm just using that as an analogy, not the same way, and not to be construed as financial advice. But what I'm saying is, like, that process is the same. Now, you asked a question, and that's a big question. How do we finance some of these critical things if we do not go this route? And the question is, that there will be consequences. I don't know if this may be the time to go into executive session. I don't know if this is the time to share about the conversation that we just had today with SAWS and the interconnect. And I'll let, since, people question what I say, I'll let you hear from Armando. There's a difference between a emergency interconnect, which they were saying the difference of mechanical and structural, and the issues that the city of Kirby are having, like the building, are structural, meaning our preventive maintenance, meaning we should have done something. So it is not an emergency, what they're saying, but they're still working with us, right? We have another meeting set up, they're gonna get back. They brought this, that they talked, I think in 2024, this question came up. But we brought it back to the table because we knew that this was important. To have an interconnect, because we know this summer it's going to be really hot, and the people on Facebook or the people who people are listening to, are they going to come out and distribute water? Are they going to come out and help us when y'all are in need? It is important that we don't get confused. This is very, I won't say simple, it's complex. Some of the things that we have in this CO are on critical red issues that needs to be done. And so the difference between, I think the number was 500 and, let me read,
Dr. Rowland, let her finish her question.
Okay.
Okay. Honestly, I just really want to say that I feel like just like everything is going up, I think a lot of these things that need to be done, the longer we wait, the more expensive it's going to get. Because it seems like everything is going up, way up.
So we originally thought that, I think when we were going to do we've been talking about doing a re-drilling from 2022 to 2023. It's a $1.2 million thing. This is now going to probably cost us $2.8 to $3 million is what the engineer and the information we're getting for that. And so the continued wait is going to raise the cost, and which is why we're bringing to the body the number. I would hope that residents do not, and council, if we're all working together, we're not bringing a $15 million CO because we have nothing else better to do. We're bringing a $15 million CO because we know that based off of the next 3 years, the things that we need to finance that will help us get that forward to when 2030 comes, we'll be on track. We'll have our comprehensive master plans. We'll have all the plans we need to be able to get us moving for the next 20 years.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca.
Just like you mentioned, the longer we wait, the more things cost. Look what happened when we delayed getting a fire truck. The cost more than doubled. And now the wait for a fire truck is 3 years. That's just crazy. But So I do want to say that I really, at the town hall, when you mentioned about the steps you've taken to come up to this, this is exactly what you needed to do. It wasn't part of your job. It took some brainstorming to get this done. And you know how the process works, and it was mentioned earlier that what grants are available, things like that. Grants are not going to cover Kirby's needs. There's just so much that Kirby needs. Applying for a grant, you still have to remember there's the copay that goes with it. So grants it's not going to solve the problem. And then members of this body have turned down free money when it came to our water issue. I still don't understand that one. But none of what's included in here is going to be free. We have to figure out a way. Residents are going to have to pay. Businesses are going to have to pay. That's just the way it is. These other cities that have done this, they're getting what they need. They're not waiting, or maybe some of them have waited. You did mention that there was one that waited 70 years to redo their city hall. These things are necessary, and so it's a huge process, and I am excited to see the breakdown that will be presented on July 9th, and to see the residents' input, not just council members' input, but the residents' input. So I'm all for it.
Thank you. Councilmember, just to share, 5 years ago, a engine, this was priced out by the fire department. It's about $925,000, and currently that same engine is going for $1.3 million. So that's what, in that small time frame, what cost escalation does. It's not getting cheaper. It's not going to go back down. It's just going to get longer. So right now we're saying 3 years. So if we continue to hold off, now when they say 5 years, what are we going to do? I mean, I know back in the day they used to have like little trucks with buckets of water. And so the question is, what are we going to do? I mean, that's really, and, so that's where we're at. But that's just one of the examples that you mentioned about the fire department. About $925,000 over the last 5 years is about 1.398 is what the fire department provided to me in the numbers as far as engine. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. Councilmember Molina?
Yes, in looking at this and researching it, it's my understanding that, we work on a project or try to get it, and that's when we go for this certificate of obligation or for those funds. We don't have to, or we're not going for all of it at the same time. Is that correct, or do we have to do it all of it at one time?
Yes, so the process, we're asking for not to exceed the 15 million, which is at one time.
Right.
But that don't mean we will spend everything at one time. So we will have it on hand to be able to work through, because again, for the water well, it's the engineering for the reconstruction, that's about 14 to 18 months. A brand new water well is about 18 to 24 months. So again, the engineering and all the things it's going to take to even do that, which is why we talked about earlier, making sure that we have the interconnect with SAWS. But the money that we're going to have to pay for SAWS ain't going to come out of this, which is going to be an issue. For 1 month, if we have to connect with SAWS, for 1 month usage, I think it's about 530-something thousand.
If it was a full 30 days.
It's a full 30 days. That's just 30 days. So understanding that it's not going to be cheap saying let's connect with SAWS and don't worry about any of these issues.
Right. we're still gonna have to keep on paying. Anyway, continuing on with this, you know, I looked it up also and I went to look to see how it worked, you know. A lot of other cities are working with this in order to bring their infrastructures up, their roads and everything up to standards. You know, we keep talking about how our water lines, our sewer lines, the water wells, everything, you know, water and sewer that are 30 to 40 years old. And when they break, we need to get them worked on now. It's not like we can wait because, you know, we're not going to be able to give service to the residents. So it's something that we need, I think, and you're correct, you know. How do we, you know, we tried to go, or we have been going for some grants also. That doesn't mean we're going to get them, you know, just to be able to apply for them, you know, and see where we fall in their steps of us getting this work. So, you know, on one hand, you know, we're telling us, oh, how come we don't fix the road? Oh, how come we have a water leak over here? Oh, why do you have a sewer leak over there? You know, it smells real bad. You know, Ackerman Road, the code. I mean, oh yeah, well, why don't you get that fixed? Well, we're going to get $500,000 to do that. And, well, we need to get it fixed today. Sure, let's go get it fixed today. I don't know how we pay for it, but let's not do anything else but do that part of it. So I'm all for this, to be honest. Yes, you know, we'll have to take out a loan, and yes, everything is going up. You know, that's just a part of life. You know, we've seen it from the pandemic on up, that everything went up all of a sudden. And by us waiting and not doing it or trying to move on it, it's going to keep on continuing for the prices to go up on everything, from labor to material. Just look at gas prices now. And with that, everything moves. Anyway, I just want to say that yes, I am all for trying to get us moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Councilmember Street, you have a discussion? Yes. Let me start off with, I'm not sure who the young lady is that was presenting this because she was not introduced. I'm assuming that she's from Hilltop Securities, which you mentioned, because I don't know, it wasn't, I don't know who she is. Sorry, no one said her name. Also, city manager has stated that we should all be aware of all of this because he's been mentioning it all year. I'm going to have to request those emails because I don't have any that say anything about a bond or a certificate of obligation. Have you been having town halls? Yes. But I didn't hear anything about a bond or anything like that until last night, or sorry, Monday night. And it was bond, not a certificate of obligation. So I was under the impression a bond would have to go to the people to approve. But apparently not, because now you find a way to get around that. Now, you call this something like a mortgage. It is. But if you're only making $60,000 a year, you can't get a mortgage for $500,000 for your house. It won't happen. You have to get something more in your price range. And I believe we're asking for too much to put on the mortgage. I don't think we can do this. Because if you divide that, $15 million by 30 years, which is the aim of this, that's $500,000 a year without interest. Where is that going to come from when we're only going to get about $250,000 in tax money from property taxes? I'm not sure where you're planning to get that extra cash from to make a payment on this $15 million. So, this is the first time council has received any detailed information on this proposal. There's no clear project list or itemized costs, which makes it difficult to evaluate the scope and the fiscal impact of this. This time I can't support approval without that detail. I'm gonna ask for some clarification on, number one, where's the money gonna come from? I know we talked, you mentioned banks and municipal bonds, but we kind of need to know something like that before we decide to jump in with both feet. And whether this is a certificate of obligation or a bond structure. So you keep saying it's a certificate of obligation, which means that nobody has to approve it out there in Kirby land, just us up here. What are the annual debt service requirements on $15 million? And the specific projects and associated costs, because right now what we have in here is way too vague. There's nothing specific in here. There's no putting things in order of need. And this is we should be looking at need versus nice to have. Okay? Instead of, we're just gonna pay for everything with one big credit card and who cares how much it's gonna cost us in the long run. So how's this debt gonna be tracked within the budget and the debt service funds? Those are all questions that we as council should have information on when you bring this to us, but we aren't getting that. I'd also like to ask if the city manager also has a 5-minute limit on when he's speaking. Madam Mayor, does he have a 5-minute limit on his speaking? Why not?
Because the staff and the people that speak, they're the ones who, they don't have a 5-minute limit.
Why?
You just answered, you just asked a whole bunch of questions.
I did, because I have to make sure I can get mine in before my 5 minutes are up.
Okay, well, continue.
Because otherwise, he'll talk for 20 minutes on what I don't need to hear. He'll talk around everything I ask. He won't give me any of these specific information questions. He never does. He never actually answers the question. So I'm throwing it out there so that he will have that information and he can get back to me on at another time, hopefully. Or I can just send them to you again in an email and get my receipt with thanks. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. Dr. Rowan, so Ms. Ann, you were here the last time, as you presented before. Maybe the council, I'm not sure, I don't know who was here or not, so maybe she wasn't here. But you were here before, again, thank you, and I remember 30 years, we know that you've been working with the city of Kirby, so you were introduced before. I'm so sorry not to introduce your company tonight, but.
And my apologies for not.
No, ma'am, it's not you, believe me, it's definitely not you. Do you want to answer some of those questions before we move on to Councilmember Grant's discussion? Please, thank you.
So first, council, this is not the first time Ms. Ann was here. She was at the last city council meeting where we went through a presentation of her whole company, what it was, and how she has been engaged in the city of Kirby of all its bonds for the last 30 years. Not sure what happened, but yes, this is Ms. Ann, who's with Hilltop Securities, our financial advisor for the city of Kirby for the last 30 years. Yes, we're going to be moving forward some of those projects, and so if you watch the town hall meeting, let's just say just this Monday, we went through item by item, area by area, department by department, in reference to what we were looking at. We talked about utility system infrastructure improvements, water, wastewater, new wells, water meters. We talked about that. Those are also the same things that we talked about the meeting before and the meeting before that in the resolutions that this body approved for the $10 million that we submitted to the Texas Water Development Board in reference to the grants. So when we start talking about some of the money, the matching funds, if we can either get it for free, 100%, or 70%, it's better than 0% and having to bring it all out of our pocket. That's what we're doing. There's a strategy. It's called, we're playing chess, not checkers, we're playing chess. So the strategy is to submit projects that all come together to where we're paying the less money for the residents, but residents are getting the most bang for the buck. That's what we're doing. That's what a professional city manager does, and that's what I'm providing to you all. Street improvements, street reconstruction, street resurfacing, streets improvement. I don't know how many times I went over in this meeting, in the town halls. There was an assessment done in 2019. There was another assessment done in 2025 that you all have copies to from R&S. Talked about the $64.1 million that it takes to bring all the streets up. That we had 102 streets. Remember that? I've been saying that and saying it. That's no different. Are we doing all $64 million? No, we can't. City facility upgrades and a new municipal building. Fire truck and equipment for the fire department. Police vehicles and equipment. Public works vehicle and equipment. Now, I want to mention this just so people know. Some of the things that I talked about while I was mentioning, some are 30 years and some are 20 years. Or it could be less, like what Ms. Ann talked about. We're not going to take out a 30-year note on something that is only going to be useful for 7 years. Just sharing that with you. And then we had parks and recreation improvements. Again, 13 meetings, we talked about every one of these things individually. Not one town hall meeting, not 2 town hall meetings, 13. Several different occasions where we just went in the weeds of just that area. So I want to make sure that we're clear and the information is there. And so that's what I have for you in reference to where these came up from. There's what we heard from the residents. Come read what they have on the sheet. But you would have to come to the meeting to see that. There it is right there. Where they put numbers, where they put what they wanted to see. We talked at city council meetings and we talked about town hall meetings. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. If you want to put those questions in writing, please send it to myself. Copy the city secretary, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Grant, you have any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. First thing is, $15 million is not going to get dropped on us in one lump sum. Y'all understand what a cafeteria is? That's exactly what this means again. And if you would listen to the lady, what happens is, you look at what the project is, what the project costs, what the useful life of it is. They shop that out to the different types of institutions that are interested in those type of loans. And you lock in the interest early at the beginning, not the back end, but the front end. Like you go to buy a fire truck, which some of us do need to steer from the right. You lock it in now. 3 years later, you get it at today's price, not 29, year 29 price. Does everybody understand how that works? Okay? Anything that comes up, we have a list here, and they're going to prioritize it. But if we don't pass this and open the door for this lady here to come back in July and answer all these questions, then you're not going to do anything. If you don't allow these people to speak more than 5 minutes, the word transparency goes right out that front door because that's what they're here for. So instead of sitting there with a smug look, listen, pay attention. Don't be the smartest person in the room. We have a long ways to go. We have put this off for years and years. Yeah, I'm out, I'm gone. This is my last hurrah. Okay? So get ready. We have done the same stupid thing every time. When we had the opportunity to put a 20-year plan in, to put a 10-year plan in, it never got done. It always got pushed off to the side. Now, it's time. The building is falling down. Let me tell you what's going to happen. The minute they start leveling it and you hit a support wall, it's going to crack. Trust me, it's going to bad. That fire truck, in case people don't understand this, this isn't like buying a four-door sedan. Every fire truck is its own individual machine. There is no 2 fire trucks on the face of this earth that are alike. They're built custom every time. That's why it takes 3 years. You lock in the price now for the materials, for the labor, for everything. And you get it in 1929 at 26 prices. I'm so tired of seeing us be reactive. I am so tired of patching things. I am so tired of hearing that. I patched my house, yeah. But when that my house catches on fire, I want the best damn thing coming to my house. And just like the other day when my wife fell, I had 4 firemen in my house within 2 minutes helping me. And the equipment was there to get her there. Okay? I don't want anybody in this room, whether you like me or not, I really don't care anymore. But my point is, I want to give you the best I can give you. The very best. And I want to give it to you at the best price we can get it at. And this lady here, that's her whole job. If this passes, which it should, then she's going to shop every one of these out. She's going to come back with a 10-year term to wherever it takes it. 20-year term, whoever takes it. 30-year term, if it comes to that. Average fire truck is 10 years. Okay? That I know. So what I'm trying to tell you is, being up here and being smug about everything and giving all these asinine comments, if you don't open the door, you can't get the answer. How can you be transparent if you can't open the door and let her present back in July coming up what we were talking about? You'll get your list, you'll get your priorities, you'll get everything. But if you sit here and argue and asinine point like that, you're not going to get anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so first I want to say, the town halls, they didn't happen with anybody else until Dr. Rowland got here, number one. And they were consistent and they've been happening. That's one thing. Also, everything in here is basically a little piece for everyone. It's not going to be everything because, again, we have so many 102 streets or over 100 streets. We don't have the 60 million. That's just for streets. We're not even talking about sewage or drainage, so we don't talk about how much millions that is or whatever. So this is just a little piece of this, but everything in here, we're talking about parks, public works, trucks. I mean, I know Mr. Armando can definitely speak to the trucks, public works, how badly they're needed, and the repair, how much money we've been spending on repairs. Like, it's insane. I know, because I signed the checks. So we keep getting like repairs on these vehicles. And public works, honestly, it's definitely about time, and I'm pretty sure public works agree. It's about time they get some updated vehicles. And also the police. We always say we back the blue until it's time to pay for them, right? So now it's time, but now, it's crickets. But they need equipment too, because guess what? If you call, you don't want them to come. You don't want their vehicle to break down. That would be something, wouldn't it? So we think about those things, and then we talk about street repairs. Like I said, we're not going to do everything, but we can do a little bit of something with this. And then also with parks. People talk about parks. But there is amongst the 10 or let's say, I think it's really less than, maybe like 10, same group of 10 to not speak for everybody, the whole 9,000. They don't. I hear all the time comments about parks and rec. All the time. Why can't we do this with our parks? Why can't we do this with our parks? Our pool. Why don't we have this? Why we don't have that? Everything, and I tell you, everything costs money. There's so many upgrades that can be needed. And also too, I think also when you're thinking about spending, you're thinking about spending this money. You're not thinking about the revenue that we can get back. That comes back when you talk about fixing up your parks and rec. How that money comes back to you. Go to the other cities and look at their parks, the ones that have the facilities or their pool has been updated, and you'll see the money that's coming in, the soccer fields, the complexes. You'll see that what's coming in generated. We always talk about we have a certain sport that we always talk about. We had another sport that wanted to come here, and they were going to pay they were just minimum. Minimum was was gonna be like 10,000 a year, and they were let us start out and see how it goes. But then we have another one where we don't really get a lot of money from, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, we talk about our parks. So, Parks and Rec, we're talking about things that can bring money in, so we can do the things that we need to do. I also want to say yes about costs going up. Costs are going up, and opportunities are lost. We keep saying that wait. For example, we said that with economic development. I'll just throw that out there, right? Years ago, I remember sitting up here as a council member. Oh, let's just wait. 2021, we've been waiting all right until 2026, and up and down the road, other places. Matter of fact, other cities had told me where I remember myself, along with the city manager and Mayor Aldridge, they actually had said who they went through to get some stuff done. We brought it before, and everyone's like, oh, wait, don't want to spend the money. So this happens. We can't keep waiting. And grants, I just want to say that grants are not going to cover everything. The county, state, and federal has made that very clear. So those who might just talk amongst only the 10 or 20, myself and Dr. Rowland and others sitting up here, we talk to other people and they want us to be sustainable. And they make it very clear, hey, coming to us, that's not always going to happen. So I do agree with this a little bit for everybody. And I think now is the time to do it. If we wait, what's going to happen? Because can you sell like the water well? Wasn't it like 1.5 and then now it's like 5 million or something?
Yeah, it was like 1.2, and now there's to do the re-drill is about 3.8.
Right there. All right, everybody have a good time. So, make a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to take action on resolution 2026-23435, directing publication of notice of intention to issue combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation in one or more series in the maximum principal amount of $15 million. For the purpose of paying in whole or in part contractual obligations incurred to renovate, improve, and equip existing municipal buildings and facilities housing the governmental functions of the city, including the city hall, municipal court, and utilities administrative facilities. 2, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and equip municipal court facilities and facilities physically attached thereto, including administrative facilities and an emergency command center. 3, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and equip streets, sidewalks, trails, bridges, parking structures, and drainage improvements, together with rights-of-way acquisition, traffic and streets, signalization, landscaping, and lighting improvements. 4, acquire, construct, improve, and repair, expand, and equip municipal parks and recreational facilities generally accessible to the public. 5, acquire, construct, improve, repair, expand, and equip improvements to the city's waterworks and sewer systems. 6, acquire vehicles and equipment for various city departments, including the police department, the fire department, and public works. 7, purchase of materials, supplies, equipment, machinery, buildings, land, and rights of way for authorized needs and purposes, including in relation to the aforementioned capital improvements, and 8, payment of professional services in connection therewith, including legal, engineering, architectural, and fiscal fees, and the cost of issuance.
Second.
I have a motion to accept resolution 2026-23435, directing publication of notice of intention to issue combination tax and revenues certificates of obligation in one or more series, and a maximum principal amount of $15 million for the purpose of paying in whole or in part of contractual obligations incurred to 1, renovate, improve, and equip existing municipal buildings and facilities housing the governmental functions of the city, including the city hall, municipal court, and utilities administrative facilities. 2, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and equip municipal court facilities and facilities physically attached thereto, including administrative facilities and an emergency command center. 3, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and equip streets, sidewalks, trails, bridges, parking structures, and drainage improvements, together with rights-of-way acquisition, traffic and street signalization, landscaping and lighting improvements. 4, acquire, construct, improve, repair, expand, and equip municipal parks and recreational facilities generally accessible to the public. 5, acquire, construct, improve, repair, and expand, and equip improvements to the city's waterworks and sewer system. 6, acquire vehicles and equipment from various city departments, including the police department, the fire department, and public works. 7, purchase of materials, supplies, equipment, machinery, buildings, land, and rights-of-way for authorized needs and purposes, including in relation to the aforementioned capital improvements. And 8, payment of professional services in connection therewith, including legal, engineering, architectural, and physical fees, and the cost of issuance. First by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, second by Councilmember Grant. Please call roll.
Councilmember Grant?
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano?
No.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilmember Street?
No.
Councilmember Molina?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca?
Yes.
Mayor Greider?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, thank you, Ms. Anderson, appreciate it. Thank you for your work and all of the city staff. I know y'all work very, very hard on this. We appreciate it. Moving on to 7D, discussion and possible action to remove a detective position at $68,293 and increase the pay of 13 other positions by $2.05. First, Dr. Rowland, and Chief Cardona.
Council, residents, this agenda item was brought to me by Chief Cardona. What I am trying to do is make sure that organizationally that we set things up to be successful. So when you call dispatch, when you call 911, we have people, emergency services on the other side of the line that's going to be here in the city of Kirby. Chief Cardona brought something to my attention. If you all don't know, so we've had several officers that have been transitioning to other agencies for more pay. This is something not new to the city of Kirby. This is something that I think we just become accustomed to. I think in the town hall meeting, I asked everybody to reimagine what is the standard of Kirby? What is our standard? So right now we know that in 2023, officers are getting paid $12 paid. This body over the last 2 years increased that to $20.99. That's where we're at right now. Every other department, a starting officer is making over $24 an hour. Right now, if you go look on Instagram or Facebook, UTSA are hiring officers for $65,000. If you do the math, $65,000 is about $30 an hour. That's an officer at the college. So when we talk about supporting our employees, when we talk about supporting emergency management, these are some of the decisions that the body needs to make. But I'm actually mainly making this clarification for the residents, for people on Facebook, just to understand what we're going through in reference to management and administration on how we move forward. It reads to, the chief brought this to me. We're trying to figure out how could we make some changes to the department. And so she brought me an idea. I won't say an idea that I gave her before in 2023. But she brought this idea on her own will and accord. But that just shows that when you're working together, it's not about who brings the idea. It's about the impact to the department. And so I'll turn it over to Chief Cardona for her to share, and then I'll close out.
Mayor, I'd like to request, I know that there's things being talked about on Facebook. We're monitoring as best we can to try and be transparent with you, but I do want to hear from all council, everything that you guys heard from the public,
go ahead and speak, and then, I mean, they can, what,
Okay,
I'm not tracking, like, break it down for me.
I'll go ahead and speak.
Okay,
All right.
alright.
So, first and foremost, one thing I do, and I'm consistent of, I don't make decisions on my own involving what affects my team. Number one, this was discussed with my administration, which includes 3 total sergeants. 3 total sergeants who are the voice of their subordinates as well. The discussion came to me, and you're right, there's several things and good points that several of you made today. Everyone is being affected with what's going on federally. Gas right now is at $4 a gallon. Could increase, could lower, doesn't matter, it's in the wind. To rent an apartment in a good area where you're safe for an officer when you're walking in and out, let's say it's just an apartment, we're looking between $1,200 and $1,500, $20.99, which is what they're being paid an hour. They're struggling again. They're trying to make ends meet. They do work side jobs when they're available, but the demand is here because we continue losing people. I have in the process the possibility of, I'm already losing 2, with 2 more on the way. By next week, I'm going to be on patrol. So those are the things that I'm dealing with right now. There's a cause and effect of everything. There's been years of it. Dr. Rowland has been right. And I can talk about those causes, just to be transparent. The patrol officer pay, as Dr. Rowland said, is completely non-competitive. Not competitive. Right now, our surrounding agencies are either starting at $25 an hour or $26. The ones that are currently leaving me right now are going to ISDs, making $25. Less work, more pay. That is just the reality. The non-competitive pay in the last 6 years since I've been here has increased resignations and vacancies. That's a fact. Another cause, patrol staffing shortages increase, which means higher overtime, slower response times. We all have multiple hats that we wear. Some officers want to learn, so they're doing some detective work too. They want to learn, so they're helping in certain areas. I'm helping in certain areas. My sergeants are pulling where I'm at, where I don't have a lieutenant right now. So it's costing us a lot more on the back end. Every officer that comes in is not only $2,000 per officer that comes in for all of their equipment, but it's also costing 3 months worth of training every single time a new person comes in. But one of the issues that we're seeing, and I've been talking about for a long time, is you're getting to a point, and it's been a battle. You want a better service, but we can't keep tenure here. What does that mean? That means rookies are training rookies, and I can't do it all. So that's something to have in the back of your mind. That is a liability, it is dangerous, it's important that we keep tenure. Of course, we have another factor, which is budget limitations. They prevent across-the-board increases. These are discussions that we're having internally, Dr. Rowland's aware of. The limitations we understand, and the ones that have stuck here, Sergeant Lackey, who's been here 20 years with the city of Kirby. 20 years, committed. When he first started, that's $6 or $7 back in the day. $7.25. And he stuck 20 years. In 2019, $12.39. So, the position of elimination of this position was for a detective. I currently have 3 detective positions. One of them is a sergeant. The other one isn't filled, and the other one's not filled. Why can't I fill them? This has been a struggle for a long time. I keep up with everyone that applies, and a lot of them, and all the recruiting efforts that's done by this officer behind me. We go to the academies, and all of them are taking, they're sponsored. What does that mean? Agencies are paying ahead of time for them to go to academies, so when we go up there and pitch our team, say, hey, we're paying $29.99, and we're sponsored, we're getting paid while we're in here. And then the ones that do apply haven't even gone to the academy, and other ones that do apply that have experience, we're struggling with background concerns. Another cause that we discussed was, if this was to occur, they were informed of consequences of this. How is it going to affect my team? They have to agree. So we're moving this position. Dr. Rowland in the town hall meeting brought up the yearly stats. One of the things that we discussed that's also in the yearly stats is the stats for my detectives. And somehow or another, we have succeeded in completing 10,000 cases that were backlogged since 2019. And that's when I had 2 and went into 3. So we're doing a lot better now. So the backlog that we have now might be 600 for the year. Is that a concern? Absolutely. But what I was informed is that they would rather have the officers have better pay and a little bit more work. They're doing the work anyways. And remove this, and if we need it later, bring it to your attention. The next thing is, they understand, I didn't discuss this, but the investigative workload is redistributed. The one thing that we don't receive is some of the things that Dr. Rowland has also talked in the town hall meeting, which is why it's so important for everyone to show up. But it's incentive, right? There's no incentive for being on night shift. There's no incentive for being a Spanish speaker when you're taking double work. There's no incentive for being a sergeant. You're getting paid the same as an officer if you were to come in. One of my sergeants getting paid the same. So those are things that are being brought up. When I have now, and it's not just losing people now, it's going to cost me time to build this department back up and still maintain the standard that everyone is expecting. But guess what? When somebody fails on my team, I fail. You're not looking at the officer, you're looking at the administration. Something's wrong with me. And I understand. But these are holes or gunshot wounds that I can describe. If I can get physical, these are wounds that we have that we need to plug up. So this is the option. This was presented to me by my administration. We discussed it in heavy. They understand the workload or what it's going to do, and they're opting for this. Currently, my sergeant on patrol that's been here for 20 years is currently making $29.98. This will move him up $2 to $32.03. The sergeant, the second sergeant in investigation, who's been here 15 years, Sergeant Rendon, is going from $24.31 to $26.36. And my police officers who are at $29.9 for 11 positions, this will also bump them up to $23.04. The total amount for this position for removal is $68,000. That's not what the officer gets. It is what we pay into the position for insurance and everything else. So this is what the police department is proposing. There's nothing fishy about it. They want to stay here, but be paid a reasonable cost or a reasonable pay like anyone else for risking their lives. That is all. I take any questions if you have.
Real quick, Council, just for 2 points of reference. Thank you, Chief. But please don't go.
Okay.
What we did when Chief Cardona brought this to me, and she was serious. I went and met with our financial consultant, finance consultant, which is Ms. Leanne, and I had her break out the $68,293. First, I asked Chief if she was serious, and then when she said yes, we had Leanne break that out and what that would do if you balance it amongst the positions that needed the officers that was there. And so the $2.05 is what we came up with, and that included the benefits, the TMRS, the other things included. If it was just dollar for dollar, it would have been higher, but we had to make sure we account for the additional TMRS and things that would be contributed to. So this is overall. I think it's also important that we some people thought that this item was, was taking the $68,293, and that's what we was gonna redistribute for the conversations that are on the next agenda items. And so that's not the case. This is all staying in the police department, based upon the information that y'all have provided. So hopefully that gave you some clarity in what we're trying to do. And the last point, in this current budget cycle that's coming up, and that will start in June, we are looking to move forward with what are called certification programs. So if a person is a master peace officer versus being a intermediate or just a peace officer, they would get additional $25. The way we keep experienced officers is they move into a certification program for people who are night differential, people who passed the Spanish speaking test, not just speak Spanish, people who have the qualifications we need that make our department better. So that's not just for police, that's going to be for fire, that's going to be for all departments. There's no point in referencing qualified credentialed employees and not paying for that. So that's what we're going to be looking for in this budget, which she alluded to, because that's how we get people to buy in on what we're doing over the next 3 to 5 years.
All right, for discussion, Councilmember Lozano, you have discussion?
No.
Councilmember Sanchez, you have discussion?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Abdallah, you have discussion? Councilmember Lee, you have discussion?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Street, you have discussion?
Yes. Okay, I have questions about timing, staffing levels, and how this aligns with pay equity across departments, particularly the fire department. When will this adjustment take effect? I believe you said June 1st. How many police positions are currently filled versus authorized? How does this proposal align with compensation across departments, particularly fire, which remains significantly lower paid and has not received comparable adjustments? Fire is still being paid $16.32 an hour. That's almost $5 less than your beginning policeman. The captains aren't making what the incoming police are making. They're getting $19.15 an hour to be the captains, and they're filling in as the chief of police. Chief of fire, because they don't have a fire chief. There's no one over there that can stand up and go, hey, we're over here, y'all keep ignoring us because we stay fun, we keep having people. So, because we're not short on people, you're not going to worry about us keeping them. This is not right. There should not be that kind of discrepancy. When the police got the bump, which was about $4 an hour in '22, which I helped the city manager figure out at that point, we promised the fire next year they would get theirs. I was not on council the next year and no one fought for them. I'm fighting for them now. Why can't we take this money and give it to the fire department and bring them up $2? It's 13 people. Why can't we do that? That would be more equitable. At least they'd be making 18 something instead of the 16.32 that they're getting. This is not right. This has to stop. They will have to get a raise this year. And this would be a good faith attempt to let them know that they aren't forgotten over there, even though they come in and they do their jobs and they put their lives on the line too. They're out there ready to save our lives with the ambulance, with the fire truck. We can't keep doing this. Yeah, you're shaking your head because I know you're not going to do this, but I have to let them know that someone is thinking about them. Thank you.
First and foremost, thank you for showing care. I'm going to start there, okay? I hear you. I appreciate you. But the way you went about it, I asked for, okay. The position that I've requested, first and foremost, my relationship, our relationship with the fire department is solid. We care about them, we show up to the calls. In fact, we're showing up more now than ever. We are aware of the shamefulness of what we're all getting paid, period. What I'm bringing to you now is a sacrifice that we are making at the police department in order to keep what we have and be able to retain. I'm not disagreeing. If we could sacrifice more so that we all get something, I think that would be great. That would be fantastic. But first, we can't find the money. Where are you going to pull it from? And when we do get the money, or we know where we're going to pull it from, now it's given away to someone else. I don't understand. I'm not saying you're wrong. And I would love, if I had another position, to provide them that. That is, no one's arguing their care and their need. Not even them, public works too. We're doing the best we can. It seems like it's a constant, that you're going to find a constant negativity in whatever we're trying to do. We are trying our best. I know that you don't agree, but it's just an opinion. You don't have to be upset. I'm not taking anything out of you. I'm just simply saying that's how we're perceiving it. You just, in those few words, told my guys something else. Maybe not realizing that. This is a conversation I had with my administration, my guys that are suffering. My officers that are not able to, they're having to work extra, 40, 60 hours, 50, 60 hours a week just to make ends meet. When I first got there, they were on welfare. This is where we're at. We're all struggling. We are all struggling. So yes, they deserve it. We deserve it. But this is not the proposal. The proposal was for us to sacrifice a team member to cause us more work, to get paid not even close to what starting pay is anywhere around us. That's all we're asking. Nonetheless, you're not wrong. There's things we can look at.
So do you want, before you go, do you want Councilmember Grant to go first and then you speak, or do you want Councilmember Grant, for discussion, would you like to?
Yes, ma'am, I do. The very first thing is, obviously, the numbers person messed up. This has to do with budget. This money is coming from the police department's budget. They have sacrificed a position in the police department in order just to distribute it among their officers. So you would have to transfer in one budget to the other budget, and apparently you fought that like crazy before, I've heard. And I've sat here and listened to you. The sad thing is I have been a police officer for 42 years. Still am. I started right here in 1975 when this department started. And yes, they do lay it on the line. But what it is, simply, is they're taking a position away. So, let's go to the fire department, let's find a position over there. Take one of those positions, do exactly the same thing. You know, if you thought level and not with just anger, it would be a heck of a lot better world. I cannot even begin to believe that we are listening to, and I hate to use this, Chief, excuse me, okay? Damn near begging to do something that is the most logical thing I've heard since I've sat up here. That's ridiculous. Plain and simple, ridiculous. You can do the same thing in the fire department, and I'm sure that we can look at this and get together and probably do the same thing. Matter of fact, I don't even think we need any more discussion. I'd like to make the motion, but I'm quite sure I can't do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Dr.
I think it's important that we have this conversation, discussion, dialogue. What we thought we were doing was what we thought you all have asked for many times. Identify the problem and provide a solution. And it's been many times that this body then takes that and and comes up with something totally different, and that's okay. Thank you for sharing. Because it is important to acknowledge that. But just, I want you to think about when you then conflated to pit one department against another department. And what that does to the morale of the employees in this building. This is not the first time. If you ask, and I'm going to have Blake, who is a firefighter and leading the department, who's a captain, to share. But it's hurtful that you say that. Because they know and understand that since I've come here, I fought for every employee in this building. So when we're going through the budget, you heard what I'm about to say. So we're going to see how you vote when it comes to the budget. The city did a compensation and classification study. It said that the city of Kirby needed to invest over $1 million, $980,000, to be on par with other cities in every department, every employee. I don't just say we're in the top bottom 3 just because I can say that. That's what the numbers and the analysis shows. So when we start talking about why we didn't increase the services for the last 7 or 10 years, why the decision over the last 3 years with the trash increase that lost $500,000 of real money, and you look me in the face and act like everybody could have did that, there were 3 years it could have been done. Why it didn't happen?
Because you didn't do it.
It wasn't for me to do it.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. And so with the understanding.
Excuse me.
So then the
I can only drink so much of this.
So the understanding.
Excuse me.
Elementary Street, point of order.
You need to stick to the.
I am sticking to it. I am.
No,
Councilman Lozano, on point of order.
So people like to throw stones, but they can't take it. And I'm standing up for the employees.
Thank you.
If I just tell you that every employee in every department is underpaid by 30% on base. So there's 3 levels. There's below, there's average, and there's high. Every department. And some of you like to come in here and only celebrate 1 or 2 departments, when every employee takes every employee to continue to make this organization run. So we don't appreciate that when we're all trying to work together. The fire has what we've been working with the fire, all 3 captains, and trying to come up with additional ways to bring in income using IFT, something that they brought to me. So then now we're trying to organize how do we get another ambulance to be able to do those deliveries. We're working on solutions. We're not sitting on our hands. I can't say what y'all did before, but I can tell you what we're doing right now. So we're going to see what y'all vote on. At the end of the day, the police department is asking to take out 1 position, split it amongst the officers, and when we come through the budget cycle, we'll have some tough decisions to make in August. But this is what we're asking and proposing right now. Fires will be coming up. Obviously, if you all have been a part of it, looking at the budget, you've seen what we've been dealing with. You all, for the last 3 months, have voted, which is the next agenda item, to increase positions in key positions from fire chief and public works director. Because we could not get anyone qualified who was going to take the amount of money that we're offering. So we increased those positions by $10,000. We're following the plan. We're not just it's not our back pocket. But we need the support, as if y'all are hearing what we're asking and proposing. Fire has their proposal coming up next. We can't do them all at the same time. But I know when we had a fire chief, they didn't have a fire engine proposed, right? They didn't have a funding mechanism, but we brought that. We did. And so we're going to be fighting for pay increases. You all are the only one who can approve the budget. So we'll be bringing that back, but we're trying to do it piece by piece and align everything. And so hopefully, I didn't, take too much time, but I thought it's important. Captain Blake, you have anything to say?
You know, I sit back there and let everybody do what they do. You know, watch everybody handle their business. And one thing I'm taking from this is that we need to realize that we're all a family. Everybody, from up there to the guys at that firehouse, to the people out there in the squad car, to the ladies sitting out there protecting our lives right now in the lobby. We need action. It's tough on me at that firehouse because I have a guy sitting out there in that truck right now who works 3 jobs. He works 3 jobs. 2 kids, 1 new one. And he's like, Cap, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I gotta do something. And just trying to keep these guys here, y'all. To me, this 2+ square miles that we have is gold, but we just ain't realizing it yet, and we need to do something about it. We gotta take care of each other. When it comes to the pay there, as y'all know, it's $16 an hour. It costs me $50 in toll fees just to come here, and my gas is $5 a gallon. I pass up departments out of departments, and I have people that say, man, you should come here, be a part of this department. You know why I tell them no? Because I love all of them. You call me, I'm coming. I'm putting my life on the line. Honestly, we need y'all. We need to move public works, police department, fire department, the senior citizen center. We need y'all right now. The time is now. I got guys that are certified to work marine, critical care techs. They can literally go to the hospital right now and make $90,000. Paramedics that can make $90,000+. But they sit here and they say, we're gonna do this with you. We're gonna wait until our city council, our mayors and everything to get us there, because we believe in y'all. I believe in y'all. And yeah, they believe in me, but we believe in y'all. So we just need y'all to fight the fight for us, come together as a family. Let's all work together. You know, we all got the brain power, we all got the capacity to make this place the place that we all see it to be. We're all here for a reason. And I just want us all to just get there. Boost this pay, do what we gotta do, give the equipment that we need, let's get the parts. Because the fire department, police department, all that stuff, these businesses see that. They look at their protection, the police protection. If something happens, how fast can police get here? When they look at the fire department, they sit here and say, well, what kind of equipment do they have? What kind of certifications do they have? Well, it's kind of hard when I have guys I got a guy spending 2 weeks in, can relocate, he lives here in Kirby, to go to Hayes County for $8,000 more. And I worked with this man for over a year, getting him to where he is today. So we just need y'all, and that's what we all have for you.
Okay, okay, I'm trying to make sure I forgot.
I'm all right.
Yes.
Thank you, though.
Okay. So I'm sorry. He already went. Everybody went. So, as we were saying earlier, this is, right, this was discussed at another time, and now moving forward, Chief Cordell actually brought this up. His requesting of what they're asking for, Councilman Grant.
Can we call for the vote?
I'm speaking
Oh,
for
sorry.
time.
Excuse me.
So, and then going back to the fire that is coming, that is also being discussed, and that is coming. And then also too, again, public works, that is coming. I mean, it's everybody deserves, like nobody's better than the other. Like let's make that's very clear. Nobody's better than more deserving than the other person, because I guarantee we know if your water shut off, you mad at public works and you want them to come fix it. If your house is on fire or something, or emergency service, you're calling the fire department, right? Somebody's trying to break in your home or in your property, trespass, you calling the police department. So I mean, everybody, right? So we understand that. So, but to this, I do agree with this, and it is time, and if, the department is actually stating that this fits, and this is coming from the chief and the top of the department are saying, yes, let's do this, and that they can maintain right now with this, I think we should do it. Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to remove the detective position at $68,293 to increase the pay of 13 other positions by $2.05.
Second. I will read it.
I have
Okay.
right?
No,
No, she's.
works for me. You have a quorum.
Right, okay. Have a motion to remove a detective position at $68,293 to increase the pay of 13 other positions by $2.05. First by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, second by Councilmember Grant. Please call roll.
Councilmember Grant.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lozano.
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilmember Street. Councilmember Molina.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca.
Yes.
Mayor Greider.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 7E, discussion and possible action increasing police chief salary. And that'll be Roland.
Got ahead of myself already. Council, I guess, it was important that we had the discussion, so this should probably go quicker. As you all know, like I shared with you all, we have put together a plan. This is from our budget conversation. This is what we're talking about, which is almost a year ago. And we're trying to just continue moving. It's some a little slow because we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this, how we're going to balance. But we're working through where we need to be at. There's a document that you all have before you that has all the departments that we're going to talk about today.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
That has all the departments that we're going to talk about today. So it has on there the police chief. It has what the assessment that I talked about. This is not even the assessment. This is salary comparison. So there are a couple things. You all know in Kirby, we have some exempt positions and non-exempt positions based upon the employees that we have. Obviously, there's not a bucket that's overflowing of money, but there are positions that we're required to have. And so we know that in the last 3 months, we increased the fire department, fire chief's position, $10,000. We increased the public works director's position by $10,000 because all those positions are linked. The other position that is not in there is the police chief position. We're asking for the same $10,000 increase for public works and for fire chief, so they're all on the same. The only difference is the police chief currently happens to still be here. We don't want to wait till someone leaves to try to increase the position. This is a low. So let's go into what I shared with you. On police chiefs, hourly, $78. On the high side, $160,000. Medium, $68.44 hourly. Salary, $142,000. Low, $58.65, $121,000. If you don't know, most directors, department heads are making $100,000. It's the same issue we went through with the finance department person. Right now, that's at 110, and that's going to have to come back and be at 120.
$10,000, the same thing. I don't know what else to say, but hey, I'm just trying to get alignment on how we move forward. And so, this has nothing to do with the $68,000 that we just talked about for the police officers. This has to do with positions. The fire chief was the first position brought to you to increase the $10,000. We're going to be working through the other employees' pay. But we're also in the budget trying to see what we were doing, and we're doing better. We were negative $400,000 last year. And so we're moving in a positive direction. We have positive numbers, which is why we're bringing this back to council.
Okay, and then, I'm sorry, excuse me, I just stepped back.
No problem.
And the increase for the police chief, what was that, going up 5,000 or what's it?
10,000.
10,000.
Same as the public works director and same as the fire chief. 10,000.
Okay, 10,000, and right now I see this paper says 70,000 and 34.
On the salary comparison, I wanted to provide the city council a low, medium, high of all the positions and what they're paying. Just so we know, like, when we start talking about when people are leaving and what we're paying compared to other cities. So even at the low, it's half the amount.
Okay.
Sergeants are making what the chief makes, right? Sergeants. So that means if the current amount is 70,000, which is the amount, 70,200, adding 10,000 will make that 80,000. Sergeants make that in other departments, and we have the chief who is exempt.
Okay. Councilman Sanchez, you have discussion? No. Mayor Pro Tem Amadaka, you have discussion?
No, no discussion.
Councilman Lino, you have discussion?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Grant, you have discussion?
The only thing I can say is this just strengthens retention, and a good point was made, because I've been in the business for a while, so I think I'm pretty much expert on it. The amount of money, whether it's a fireman, anyone, that you invest in someone in training and equipment for them to lead is ridiculous. We got a good chief. We've got money invested. Let's take care of our investment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So to be clear, it's going up 10,000. Okay. That's my only question. We have a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion
Oh,
to.
sorry. Okay, sorry, I make a motion, okay.
Mayor, I make a motion to increase the police chief's salary, by $10,000.
Second.
Have a motion to increase the police chief's salary by $10,000. First by Mayor Pro Tem Amadaka, second by Councilmember Grant. Please call roll.
Councilmember Grant,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lozano, Councilmember Sanchez, Councilmember Street, Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Amadaka,
Yes.
Mayor Greider.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to 7F, discussion and possible action increasing city secretary salary.
Council, again, same information. So you have on that same salary comparison sheet, looking at across on the other cities in reference to pay. So the high for city secretaries based on the analysis of the 13 cities is $52.12, which is a salary of $108,000. That's on the high. Medium, $43.29. It's a salary of $90,000. And then you have the low, $34.45 salary, which is $71,652.53. Currently, I think it was 6. You all have that in your packet, right?
Yes.
All right, so y'all have the number. And so 63. And so what we're asking is to increase that amount to be comparable.
And that would be? Oops.
Where were we at? I'm sorry.
The city secretary salary.
Yes.
Yes, the $10,000.
That's.
All right. Discussion, Councilman Lozano, you have discussion?
Yes. So, the low salary, the 3445, do you recall what city or cities that is being taken from? The other thing is, if it's a $10,000 increase, that's almost a 15% raise on top of what they're currently making of $63,000. So, what budget, what line are we taking that from, and why is this, could we not wait until budget time comes around? What is the, I guess, the urgency in it? Because it's still a big jump in salary, and we still need to look at, wondering if you're listening to me.
I'm listening to you.
Okay. So, what is, again, the reason for the increase? And, you make me lose my train of thought because of your lack of attention.
Are you still talking to me?
Yes, I am. So, I guess the numbers that you pulled, that you brought up, is the job descriptions equivalent to what our current city secretary is making. I have no doubt that she does her work and she's good at her position, but the amount that you're proposing is way even more than what our fire department is making, or our fire.
What position? I don't understand.
The fire department is, the firemen are not making $19 or $16 an hour.
So the fire chief that you voted on,
Okay.
he got
no,
a 10,000.
Okay, no. I'm talking about the firemen that
So you
are
compare the
now
fire person
hourly.
to the city secretary?
I'm comparing individuals that put their lives at stake, like our police do, to our city secretary, who you're proposing for almost a $10,000 raise.
Okay. So the difference, if you would have been in the room earlier, there's an exempt position and
I
non-exempt.
understand. I understand exempt and non-exempt. I understand.
So you understand
It's
that?
let me finish.
Dr. Rowland,
Yes, thank you so much. So that's still, whether it's exempt or non-exempt, the hourly rate, it's still $16 or $17 or $18. It's below $20 an hour for our firemen. And you are wanting or proposing that our city secretary makes at least double that amount. And I don't see the reason why, when, again, we're a very small city with our taxes, can't afford to put a $73,000 position or salary on our city secretary. So, and you can be smug with your smile, that's fine. And you can look around while I'm talking to you, which is very unprofessional. Earlier you were, sir, and right now you're interrupting me. So, please don't